People at the table will look at the agenda items for the city council meeting for Monday afternoon. The first thing, on the agenda is gonna be adopt the minutes from the last city council meeting. So, those are pretty much in there. Does anybody have any questions about those?
I do. The veto included in this?
No, the veto wasn't part of the city council meeting.
You did it after?
Yes, sir, I did it afterwards.
I recall reading something on my desk about that would be added to the agenda.
I'm waiting on for Mr. Merrifield to give me a definition.
Yeah, it would be on this coming council meeting.
What is it we're putting on there?
Yeah, well,
The
the
veto
veto.
gonna be on
It
there.
will.
It has to be.
No, it doesn't have to be, because you gotta give me a letter what an act is. I don't know what an act is.
Why do I have to give that to you out here in the streets?
I-
Explain that to you what it is.
I asked you to give me a letter and explain to me.
And I will give you a letter,
That's what I'm waiting on.
Okay.
And when you give me a definition, then we'll put it on the agenda.
but it has to be on the agenda because a veto by itself don't mean anything. Once you have a veto, a written veto, it has to go back to the council to give them the opportunity to either yea or nay it.
I understand,
Okay,
but just give me the letter.
okay, I'll give you the letter.
All right.
And get with me on how to word that fact sheet, cause I've never done this before.
Okay, no problem.
So
So
it
I'm
wasn't-
not understanding, I'm
it
not
wasn't-
understanding what's going on right now. Okay, so basically, the minutes are, what, are they in limbo or?
No, the minutes of what happened at the city council meeting. Is that what you mean?
No, what I'm saying is, what is this thing about a letter? If the veto has to go on there, what is this thing about a letter if it has to go on the minutes?
It
I
don't
need
have
to-
to be in these minutes.
It don't have to be in these
That's
minutes?
not.
But the veto letter states that it's attached to the minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
That's
attached
no
to them,
problem.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Attached
so
to the minutes.
if it's attached to the minutes, then why doesn't it have to be on there? That ain't making
So if
sense.
we approve the minutes, it means that we approve to take the sign out.
No,
No.
Why? I mean, you can't veto it anyway.
a veto can be
Yeah.
challenged.
No, you can't.
No, I said a veto can be challenged. He has the right to veto if he wants to, but a veto can be challenged. That's why I got to go back on the docket.
Let me put that.
I read where you can't veto a motion.
Then that's what you tell him at the
Oh,
meeting.
I'm telling you now, you can't.
No, we don't
can't
discuss
veto.
that now.
Okay, well, we vote like we want on the minute.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
The veto is an act. It says an ordinance or act, and the
It
motion.
says a resolution or ordinance.
No, it says an ordinance.
Well, we don't have to
or
go
act.
through it. We'll go
we
through
don't
it
have,
later.
this is not the place.
Yeah.
Okay,
You'll do that one after.
Okay.
next on the agenda is to request to annex property. This is the rentals facility out there, that's doing business in Catamaran. They wanna come into the city limits, so when they build their new buildings and everything, they can get city utilities and, sewage and water. And everything's attached in there that's gone through the tax assessor and all that.
So that's the
type of
annex
thing.
in the commercial property.
Sir?
That's just the annex in that commercial
Yes,
property?
annexing commercial property, correct. Does anybody have any questions about that?
There's two steps to these annexations. This one you'll be taking Monday night is to, authorize Mr. Manafield to publish the annexation notice in the paper, because you have to publish it in the paper and give the public so many days to respond to it. And then at the next meeting, he'll draw up the annexation ordinance and it'll come back to you to adopt the ordinance. So this is the first of two steps.
Does anybody have any questions about that? No. Next is the, lot split, and that's, across from Save-A-Lot, Rick Sims, and Noah. They want to, it's already gone through the planning commission, and the planning commission approved it, it's gotta come to this council for final approval. You'll see the drawing right here where they're splitting it in half. If, you need any definition or anything like that, Mr. Cooley can answer those questions.
Evidently, he needed to split the property into two sections to make it fit his, program with the state or something like that. It's actually being developed as a single piece of property with one driveway in, one driveway out. That's not gonna affect the way it's developed. He needed it to be split up, 3 of those buildings on one lot and 3 on the other, so that it met the requirements of his program.
Anybody have any questions about that?
This is the property on Walnut Street.
On the corner of, I believe it's Walnut and Highway 80 right there. It's
No,
across from
it's
Save-A-Lot.
Oh, it's
No.
Taunton,
No.
Taunton and Highway.
Yeah. This is where the construction's already started.
I'm just looking at the back page here where it says Walnut. Oh, man.
It says Taunton and East Union.
North Taunton Street and East Union.
I'm just looking at, the owner of the land, is it?
Yeah, he did 2 pieces of property about the same time. One of them was over on Walnut
Yeah,
Street.
Walnut is his address.
Right.
That's his address.
Okay.
It's his address on Walnut.
Call you back.
Does anybody else have any other questions about that? Okay. Next on the agenda will be, the adopt ordinance 1107 alcohol beverages. Tamika, do you have the latest and greatest? Is that?
Yes,
is it- okay,
yes.
Okay, she got it. If you'll turn to that. Y'all wanna go through all the definitions?
You wanna do the agenda first and then we'll get that afterwards? Don't take so long.
We don't know?
You wanna finish this first and then go to that ordinance?
That was the next on the, okay, we can skip over it. The next is the request, on E, that's gonna be a request for the recreation complex concession services. The contract that we have, presently with, Grace Estates has expired. And so we're gonna put that for RFP with y'all's approval to,
So what is the old contract state?
I don't have the old contract with me.
This one
It
is-
it expired on December 31st, 29. It was, they paid so much for so many months, I think it was, here it comes. The old contract was, they would pay, $333 per month from January, February, March, April, August, September, October, November, and December. And then
Hold
they
on,
would.
say that one more time? You said they paid $330 for how many months?
They would pay $333 per month for the months of,
Just how many months how many months is it?
well, it's a 12-month contract.
So I'm telling you, so they're gonna pay $333 a month for 12 months or for?
No, that's what I was,
That's what I'm-
yeah.
You had skipped some months, I was just trying to figure out.
Okay, okay. $333 per month for the months of January, February, March, April, August, September, October, November, December. And then they'll be billed $600 per month for May, June, and July. And then they'll be billed, this pay will be billed for $400 per month for the months of January, February, March, April, August, October, November, December, and then $800 per month for May, June, and July, so that it increased as the contract went on
Okay.
for 2 years. Is that correct, Mr. Hall, you're in here?
I'd have to look at the
Okay.
So if they, okay.
So what if they renew, they just start off, they pick up at the 800?
Well, we talked with, Ms. Cole, and she said that we couldn't just simply renew the contract, that we had to put it out for RFPs.
So there was no grace period at the losing of the contract for him to pick it back up?
No, sir, there was for the first contract, and he renewed it,
He's already used that.
yeah, for a year.
For 1 year.
Mhm. So it's gotta go out for RFPs again.
So now it has to be advertising.
Yes, sir. So that's what I'm gonna be asking for, to put it out there to advertise for it again.
You know, and I've been, since basketball season started, I've been seeing the mayor, Rocky, and Michael, the sales that we do during basketball. And other than the 4 or 5 weeks of baseball, basketball is our best. And last night, we did $156. A good night, we do 250. We, you know, we will do, on a Saturday, which that's from 8 to 5, we may do $400 to $500. So just to be honest with you, you know, by the time you kick in $333, you know, we're not making money. I mean, we're not, you know, during baseball season, it does okay, you know. If you don't have any rainouts, and if you have tournaments that do come in, you know, I mean, it does okay, but just in general, you know, we're losing, you know, money every time we go out there. I will say that the reason I do it, I think there's potential. I think there's potential to get it going the right direction. And that's kind of one of the reasons I've invested, you know, in that, you know, feeling like we can get it where it needs to be. And also, something we've done since we've had it, we've put in snow cone machines at both of the big ones. We also have, you know, added cotton candy. And I understand it has to go out, you know, but, you know, I guess when you decide whether or not you can send it out, you know, if you're willing to say that, you know, you're gonna need to continue this, or you're gonna back up and not offer these products anymore. So that's just some things to, you know, when you send this out, that you really need to kind of think about.
So it has to go back out for advertising instead, so he can't renew.
No, sir. But I will say this, the last time, was before all of our time here, and nobody bid on it but Jimmy. So. Okay, the, next 2 things on the agenda for Monday night are F, which is the budget financial report, which we'll hear that, and then, which will be the police report, and we'll hear that. So, and then we're gonna jump back to the, alcohol beverage ordinance. Y'all wanna take each page at a time? Tell me what your pleasure is. But I wanna make sure that we all understand it. So y'all just tell me how y'all wanna go over it. Mr. Taylor?
I just had as far as the measurements, is that 625?
625?
Hold on. Let's start with the definition. I got it. Before we go that far. I see what we added out there in here. It wasn't on the other. And I don't quite understand it. Tell me.
What is outlet, what page are you on?
Page 1, first page.
No, it's on one.
Right here, first
Beer
page.
outlet.
Beer outlet and then outlet.
First page. Is beer outlet in this one?
When
Wrong.
Are or just the definition outlet?
Where a person draws or removes any malt beverage. Okay, back on page 4,
Outlet means a place where a person draws or removes any alcoholic beverage from its container or consumption on the premises.
so that's a.
You know, you
keg,
get like a
beer,
spout,
right,
yeah, something
keg,
like
okay.
that.
Draft.
Okay, that wasn't even the one I was looking at. On page 4, you got the same, you got a definition saying, outlet means a place where a person draws or removes any alcohol beverage. Now, is it gonna be beer and malt beverage, or is it gonna be,
Daiquiris?
What you got?
A beer outlet refers to beer.
Yeah, that's on page 1.
An outlet means any alcoholic beverage.
Oh, wait, I'm trying to find out where he is.
He's on
Page
page 4.
Page 4 towards the bottom.
We were
Okay,
talking about
right.
that.
And then there's one on page what?
Yeah, the first one's a beer outlet, and the next one's just an outlet where you do draft beer or
He said-
margarita machine or something like that.
what it says alcohol, that could be. We don't have a machine that produces alcohol.
I guess
You
like
said
daiquiri.
any
Well,
alcohol.
Saying from its container,
A
It's not
daiquiri
alcohol,
machine it has alcohol in it, doesn't it?
but I mean, you pour the alcohol in there.
Yeah.
One of those frozen daiquiris.
Well, no, I mean, the alcohol's already in, the mix, Mr. Alshad, is the alcohol already in the machine?
It is.
And you just draw it out?
It is.
Okay.
I think that should be reworded, I don't,
Well, this is state wording.
it's not in there, it's not on the other one, I mean, this has been added, I don't see
We
it here.
added some new
I don't
definitions.
see it here.
No, it's not in the old,
Right,
we added it,
you added,
we added some more, definitions.
but he just said it's the state, it was already, we should have already had it if it was the state law. But this is a city law that we added,
Yeah, but this is city law. This is, all this is city law.
I know, I'm just saying, I don't.
But we could add some state, definition if you wanted to. We can add some definition from Shreveport as far as this area of it. Because I don't know what people are gonna be selling in these places. I wanted to make sure whatever they were selling, they don't have to sell some of these things, but if they wanted to, they had the opportunity to sell it. I would hate for somebody that wanted to sell a certain malt or something like that and didn't have, and it's just because it's not in our ordinance that we can't do it. So there's more here than you need.
Outlet number 15 in the state law says outlet means a place where any person draws or removes any alcohol beverage from its container for consumption on the premises. That's an outlet.
That's exactly what this is.
No. And that's from the, Louisiana Alcohol and Tobacco Controls, current through January 2019.
But if you do have any question, you need to ask them,
Oh, yeah.
you know. So, feel free to do that.
So
Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
are we okay with leaving outlet in there, Mr. Bradford?
I mean, if that's what the state law says, I mean,
Yes, sir, it's in this book right here.
I get to look at the book.
Okay.
Mr. Menfield, I have a question about the premises or premises to be licensed.
What page are you on?
That's gonna be 5 or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
On the new,
Whenever you read it, it says, means the building or that part of the building as defined in the application for the permit in which beverages of low alcohol content are sold. Should we not take Should it not be all inclusive, low or high, low and high?
You,
It could be.
Where is it at?
yeah,
Right here,
I'm with,
page
I'd hate for it to exclude
Are these paid?
those places that are selling high alcohol for some reason.
number 5, on page 5, where you at?
So just take low out.
Well,
You
just
in the
put
restaurant?
alcohol, make it, just say alcoholic beverages.
Premises.
Put
Premises,
alcohol in
okay.
front of beverages and take of low alcohol content out, so it would say.
Premise or premises.
No,
I'm
permit.
just making a denotation for these right now.
Right.
It's not, I'm just gonna, I know what you're
Okay, so you wanna take out the word low?
I'm not sure we have
Of low
to.
content.
Okay, and just make it alcohol content?
Alcoholic beverages,
What
period.
does it say in the state definition?
Or you can say low and high, whatever, however you want to
What's
do
in the
it.
state definition?
Hold up.
Premises or premises utilizing the building as part of the building.
I
defined
can't-
application for permit is low, with beverages of low alcohol content are sold. It says low alcohol content.
Now, see, that don't make sense.
Well,
There's
it
a
may
reason
not
I
make
know it,
sense, man,
but
to you
That's
right
writing
now.
out places that sell high alcohol.
You know what, I gotta check by, man, okay?
Now, just,
That's
it's
number 19.
In the state
That's number 19 in the
definition,
state
right there, why
definitions.
would change it? Why
Who
would
said we
change
were
it?
changing it? We're not necessarily changing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not.
I mean-
No, I'm not rewording anything until I investigate it. And you just investigated that, right? Did you read that, Mr. Taylor?
Yes, it's number 19 in the state definitions.
Okay, isn't that what it says?
Low.
Okay,
No.
so we don't have to worry about that. I can understand your dilemma about low and high, and I'm gonna check that out. Okay, but as of right now, it's written, as it's written on the state law. Okay? But I am gonna see if there's some high, does it say high somewhere else? But I appreciate you bringing it to my attention, excuse me, to our attention, because the three of us put it together, you know? Alright.
You also said
Number
something about.
25 says
Hold on,
wholesale.
hold on. You also said something about, beverages are regularly sold or served outside the building.
What page you on?
It's the
very
same, that's the same one.
That's the second sentence in that paragraph.
Let's see.
Term shall also include such outside area.
Case with servers.
When will be serving alcohol outside of the building?
It says.
Yeah,
Is that a drive-through window?
Something,
I mean,
Well, if
Or a
you have
patio at a restaurant?
To me, it look like it's worded just like the state law says.
It is.
it is, that's what it says, there?
Mhm.
Outside.
Yep. It says,
Right,
regularly sold or served outside the building in turn shall not include such outside, should also include such outside areas. Still number 19.
is that the old one they got of the new one there?
This is the revised, I'm looking at the state law.
No, I'm talking about is this the ordinance that I drafted the first
It's on
time?
both, it's actually on both of them.
This is the latest.
It's on the, it's on the
Okay.
one.
Alright, we are, there is a, that we looking at today, what is that piece of paper I gave you?
What was
About
that?
when you can have the outside area,
That,
you remember that?
yeah, I got it later.
There are certain situations when you can have an area outside of the building, you know, we discussed that you can sit out there and drink, if you wanna be enclosed, however. But state law is going to demand that they have certain directions, such as,
You talk about a public
bathroom.
inhabited area?
yeah, public inhabited area. Yes, go ahead, you can talk to me.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Public and habitable area means publicly accessible with the structure which is permanent in nature, is in compliance with the applicable building codes, and is fully enclosed in climate control. Public habitable space does not include restrooms, closets, storage, or utility rooms, employees areas, garage or warehouse space, patios, or porches.
What statute is that, what's the number?
it doesn't have a statute number, it was just put out by Alcohol and Firearms about.
Patios or what?
It just deals with public habitable areas. This is a question and answer thing. But then it also talks about the habitable areas, like if it's a Class A license, they've gotta have 300 square feet of habitable area. Class A restaurant, 500 square feet. Class B, 500 square feet of public and habitable area. And Class C, which would be like daiquiris or bar or something like that, would be 1,000 square feet of public habitable.
What did it say about the patio?
It says it does not include,
You don't include the patio
It does
when you
not
figure in the
include.
square footage of the habitable
yeah,
area.
but like when you, like, I'm gonna use, let's say somebody's got a building, and the inside of that building's gotta be 1,000 square feet. Just the climate controlled area. They can go outside if they have like a courtyard or umbrellas and patios or something like that.
But the building has to meet
Well,
the square foot specifications.
Okay,
Right,
yes,
right.
for example, let's take El Jimador. They're constructing an outside area. You see the steel framing, so when they complete that, they can walk out there and consume their beer, their mixed drink,
Serve food and
or daiquiri.
alcohol in the patio.
Yeah. But the square footage, Mr. Cooley, when he goes and measures to make sure that, well, they're already legal, but to make sure they have the right square feet, he can't measure that to include that in their habitable areas.
Can they have a bar out there?
Oh, what now?
Can they have a bar out there in that area? And sell drinks in that outside area?
No, they have to sell the drinks on the inside in the climate control area, and they can walk outside with them.
Well, you know, where it says premises to be registered here, it says differently in my book.
It says regularly sold
So-
or served outside the building as well.
Yeah.
So
Sold or
what-
served outside the building. Same one, number 19.
On
That
page
is
5,
one, that area there is something that we're still finalizing.
Yeah. Get an official
We had a big
opinion.
discussion about it today. But what he's giving you is not the finality, it's the proposal.
Well, I mean, that is worded just like that in the state law. This is worded exactly.
It is gonna be incongruent with state law. We can't go outside the boundaries of state law that far, because all of this, what we're talking about right now, got to be inspected by the state. Make sure that we are in compliance with their rules and regulations.
before it ever gets to us.
And then Rick gonna have to do his thing. But this is, this is the,
Trying to learn what the hell
this is the
that-
proposal, okay? It may be a done deal by the time we meet, meeting again Friday?
Friday.
Yeah, to finalize everything. That's why we're glad you're bringing these things up, so by Friday, we have all the nails down, okay?
Does anybody else have any other questions about?
When did we come up with this Friday meeting?
Well, that's what we're gonna
We're trying to
propose
put
a
it on
meeting
the-
on Friday.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, well, we hadn't called a meeting, we're just gonna propose a meeting if we think we're close enough that we can get it done. We're not saying positively we're gonna have one. Does anybody else have any questions about the definitions?
Mr. Mitchell, I had a question. Well, it's not about the definitions though. This is section 6-22, qualifications of applicants.
I don't have mine, section 6-
-22. Okay.
Six.
You can talk, go ahead.
Well, when I was speaking with, the mayor and Wanda the other day, I know we're going, I mean, if we're gonna revise the state law for certain things, number one is just leave it up for, I mean, judgment, it's a judgment call, and I don't feel like that's right.
Wait a minute,
Says-
are you talking about section 6-22?
Yep, number one.
That's state law.
Okay, but we adjusting state law and we reword it, so, I mean, can't this be reworded? It's one word in there needs to be reworded, actually. And that is a person's arrest. What about convictions? If you just put convictions on there instead of, a person can be arrested for anything, that mean they won't be able to get a license? I mean, I think it should say convictions. You can be arrested and proven innocent.
This is what you gave me.
Mm. Okay,
Cause we rewording state stuff.
now what is it that trouble you?
The arrest, he
It
wants
should
to
be
change to
convictions.
convictions, wants to change the state law from
It's
arrest to
26,280.
conviction.
Okay, these are the prerequisites that the commissioner is going to consider. Change those.
I mean, you know, we were
First
just
of all, here's what happened. You got to go to the commissioner first. That's what, you don't come to the city first. You go to the commission first.
I was gonna ask that question, Commissioner, that's a state office,
Mhm.
that's not.
Yes, you-
Right,
that's
yes,
not somebody
that's
that's-
where you
To
get
the
started,
state.
right there.
Yes.
And these are the prerequisites you're gonna have to, the qualifications you're gonna have to, pass before you can even get to the city and ask for a permit or anything else.
Yeah, I understood that.
So I can't change that.
Okay. So basically, none of the state laws we can change.
No,
No, you can't change
No,
any
we
state
just
law.
keep- We just keep it,
that's why they said I
Yeah.
couldn't change that definition a while ago to
yeah,
include
let's
high
keep it, let's just
alcohol.
keep it what it is, man. So,
Okay.
we can't change.
Are we
none of
going
this
front, back, or
Yeah.
front, now, way up
Okay,
in there?
we're gonna.
Number one, where he's talking about, is it gonna be over 18 or over 21?
It's
18.
It's law.
It's state law. Now, you can,
But here it says 21.
You're looking at our old ordinances?
Well, I mean, it would be state too, wouldn't it?
No,
No,
Oh, this is something,
that's going away completely. The,
I mean,
the ordinance
Yeah,
in
the-
that
the
book
one you have in the book
go
there is
away completely,
going away.
totally rewritten to meet the new requirements.
can a person buy alcohol at a teach?
Not
No,
anymore.
they can, work in a restaurant and serve it, but they can't work at a convenience store and sell it.
no,
Actually,
in a convenience store, 17 and 18-year-old can sell it to a 21-year-old.
We just looked at the state law on that one, it
Is that
said
right?
differently.
might very,
18
Relook
can sell, I don't know about the 17, they would have to have a permit from the school to even work for it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
it can be 18.
You've gotta have a
I
permit
just
from
looked
the
at that in
school.
state law the other
And
day.
as long as you.
Okay,
have-
where is that in here?
A server's permit.
As long as the manager has a service permit and they have a work permit from the school,
It's in number
17 and 18-year-olds.
I'm gonna tell you, what that one is, I just looked that up the other day when we were in
What's,
here.
what's wrong with this law here? Number one.
It was 21 in our old one,
Okay.
And,
so we were probably.
but it's going away. But it might have been right back then.
Might have been,
Could have been.
could have changed.
Mhm. Okay, so we're gonna get past the
They don't even have.
definitions,
In a convenience store.
and we're gonna go down to the exempt products.
Tell us what number you're on, 6.
I'm on 6.2, starting with exempt products. And so we're gonna go through the whole thing here.
Let's see, 6.2.
Well, on here it says private retail stores and spirits, while
Wait.
grocery store and convenience stores, beer and wine, they're not doing, no set service hours. The legal drinking age is 21, but you must be 18 years old to work as a server in a restaurant or serve as a bartender. I'm not seeing where it said retail stores at though. I guess so.
And if you have a work permit from, the school board office, you can be 17.
Not working for you the other day, so.
Yeah, okay.
Can you get a responsible vendor's card at 17?
As long as you have the responsible vendor's card, and they go through and get the work permit, and they work the hours, because there's only certain hours that they can work. But the responsible person holding the card, one of them has to be on site.
That's for 17 and up.
Uh-huh.
So what, you said we're gonna 6-1?
Pardon me?
You said we're going to 6-1?
Two.
6-2, that's exempt products. And that's
Pretty simple.
all from state law too, you see revised statutes underneath there. And then 6-3 is, no person shall refuse to allow the law enforcement authorities to make inspections. Six four is the penalty for false statements. And then, of course, there's a fine attached to that, or imprisonment attached to that. Okay. Closing hours.
Can
We-
we rewrite those to where they're more clear?
The closing
easier to
hours,
understand?
What is it you don't understand?
Well, it's just that the times referenced are from the day before to the next day in reverse, they're just confusing.
Okay, don't we have our close, our own, all our schedule and closing and stuff like that?
I know last time we all talked about closing hours and things like that.
And I'm not talking about changing the times that y'all agreed on, I just think the times are good, it's just how they're written in here is not clear. It might be for a lawyer, but not that stuff.
Well, can we talk about this, that,
When I did that, lady, it was 3 of us here.
Yeah, and we were kinda copying.
In fact, I know, this whole table was here when they
Right.
did that.
Right.
It wasn't, I didn't draw these hours up, even
Right.
though I'm a lawyer. I'm just letting you know that you all did that, not me.
And we discussed it based on how they were written on the previous documents, and y'all all came to,
Okay.
and the times are great,
but,
My question to y'all on the times is, do you want to have Mendon to have its own time, or do you want to be in line with the whole parish, the way Dixie Ann has their hours, Spring Hill, Cullen, all these other towns? I've got the hours for the rest of the parish here, and if you don't mind, I'm gonna read those out and you tell me what you think. No person holding a permit under this article shall sell any beverages to which a permit applies between the hours of 12 midnight and 6 a.m. on weekdays.
Who was that for?
This is for the whole parish. And-
outside of the city
Yeah,
limits.
and that's what I'm asking.
It's not-
It's for Cotton Valley, Cullen, Sarepta, Sibley, Dixie Ann, Doreen, Douglas, Heflin, and Shongley. They've got many in Spring Hill up here at the very top.
Just an area
But
that
this
do
is the hours they sell, so it might be easier for people that have multiple stores if we all get in line with the same thing.
Well,
It doesn't matter to
City
me.
doesn't even sell alcohol, I've been
Pardon me now?
some of the cities use, name on there don't even sell alcohol.
Well, yeah, they have Mendon listed and we don't even sell alcohol.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that this is what the parish has adopted, the police jury in the parish.
I
And
think we should stick with our hours.
so you got your hand up, sir?
Yeah, I'd like to, just, when we distinguish between convenience stores on the time, I know, I'm just looking at, we have 2 hours, fewer on a night, and I'm curious what the difference is, to the room, or why convenience stores should be penalized, I guess, or, we gotta put bars across our doors at 10 o'clock at night, but they can drive through a package store and get, I assume, beer or whatever.
A package store doesn't sell gasoline, petroleum. And that was the difference I thought about it in there. If you have petroleum on the premises, it should be at a different time. But I could be,
I don't know what I respect that, but I'm not real sure what, the fact that we sell petroleum at the premises, like, is that, where's the difference to me still, because we're gonna be selling gas between 6 in the morning, we sell gas 24 hours a day, and if somebody is gonna drink and drive, I don't know that whether or not we sell gas should influence whether or not we can sell alcohol,
What time do you close on?
On weekdays,
Uh-huh.
9 o'clock.
Okay, so, what time does that store in Dixie Ann close that sells gasoline?
It does
They
not
don't.
close.
So, do they sell beer? So that, they sell beer up to what
24
time?
hours.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
and
don't
they
know.
sell beer 24/7.
Oh, do
That's,
they?
that's at Dixie Inn, you
Okay.
know, and Spring Hill, they stop at midnight, even at Timberland and, the
What-
Easy Mart there.
What
they-
time do all the Dixie Marts close?
They close at 11.
11. What time does Smoking Jay's close?
10 right now, but I mean, this would obviously be something that might encourage us to stay
So
open later.
that's something the council might wanna consider.
What time does Brooks's close?
We sold at 11.
Probably 9, I would guess.
Till
Ten.
11.
Okay.
outside of the city should sell.
Let me say something.
No, they were doing something, it was a special
okay.
circumstance.
I'd like to say that
Sure.
a lot of people that fish or hunt or golf or recreation or whatever, they wanna do a one-stop shop. They want to get up in the morning, maybe 5 o'clock in the morning, 6, whatever, stop in, buy their
Sure.
fuel, their candy bars,
Sorry, in the
their
morning.
cigarettes.
In the morning.
And, or evening, whatever,
You
maybe
got a
coming in.
bar, a club, or what?
I got
But if you limit the convenience store to selling the alcohol, that person, you're not only gonna lose the sales from the alcohol, you're also gonna lose the sales from the cokes and the candy bars and the cigarettes and the gasoline. They're gonna stop at Buzz Buy or somewhere where they can do their one-stop shop. And I kinda agree with Smoking Jay's and Dixie Martin. The police we're gonna handle our business, I can promise you that. We're not gonna allow people to sit around outside and loiter, and especially if the proprietors, whoever it may be, tell us, you know, hey, we got somebody hanging out, we're gonna come ask them to leave, and if they don't wanna leave, then we'll take care of it, however it needs to be taken care of. So, as far as people hanging around, we're not gonna allow that on that end of it. But I personally think y'all can do whatever you feel like is appropriate, but I think if you was in line with either the rest of the parish or even state law, I think state law says you can sell 24 hours, low volume alcohol.
So does the parish allow them to sell on Sundays in their parish law?
Can I also just?
Buzz Buy does.
I can give you some examples. I supervise 28 stores, so I can give you examples of, the parishes around also, like Homer and Haynesville and,
Well, they sell high content 7 days
but I'm
a
just
week.
talking about convenience
Oh,
stores.
yeah, okay.
You know, so almost all of them do the state law, which is stop
But
at
their
midnight.
convenience store sells high content as well.
I'm Melinda Gary. And so most of them quit selling at midnight, which a lot of them close before midnight. But they are allowed to sell till midnight, and then they reopen in the morning at 5, but they do not sell until 6. And a lot of them on Sundays, every little town is different. Spring Hill might be, they don't start selling until 12 o'clock, and Homer is 2 o'clock, and Haynesville is 1 o'clock, and Buzz Buy is 24/7, so they can sell, so every little, you know, city
Well, as far as
ordinance
the
is
time to
different.
sell, when the chief was here, he wanted to sell after shift change at 6 o'clock, so that's why we came up with the time of 7.
Okay, I was just coming in to ask if we could do what the state law is 6 AM is where all of our stores start selling. Like I said, some are 24/7.
Captain Garrett, how do you feel about the shift change and them selling alcohol during shift change?
I haven't spoken with the chief about it, but personally, I don't see it being a problem, because, I mean, shift change takes 10, 15 minutes.
And that's at 6 AM?
That's at 6 in
But
the
they
morning.
also have one at 6 PM and we're already selling at 6 PM.
It-
So I don't know the difference.
So in the morning time, I mean, I don't see there really being a big problem with an alcoholic or drunk or someone at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Since we on that, what it says about bars and stuff like that, what time do they start selling in the morning?
Well, I don't know of any bars that are
I
open
was
that.
asking.
Oh.
You know, what are we saying? Everything that you all agreed to do the last time we met, you're changing them? Is that what?
No,
The
we're
records
all-
stay the same?
We're just talking.
I know
And
you're
trying to
talking.
figure out what's going on outside of Minden in the rural areas and the other communities.
But again, like I was saying, I think you're gonna lose sales from other product other than just alcohol. Because of you people that do like to do the one-stop shop, just my personal opinion.
Well, your bottle clubs and your clubs, they have different hours than your convenience stores, gas, petrol.
So we're gonna have to change these hours again.
No, we're talking, Charles, we haven't decided.
Okay.
If you do change, it's the easy thing, you walk through it and retype it.
Yeah, it's not
Not
a
that hard
big
to
deal.
change.
So do y'all have a problem with them staying open till 11? And opening it, selling at 6 till 11 at night?
I like the hours we already got. Like
Mr.
Mr.
Taylor, what do you
Bill said,
think?
why are we gonna change all this?
Ms. Walker?
I was fine with what we had. And I'm still fine with it.
But do you have a problem with changing it to 6 to, because we're open till 11, so now I've gotta tell my customers from 10 to 11, I cannot sell you beer. That just doesn't make much sense, but they're used to, everywhere they go, till midnight they can buy beer. And everyone's used to it in the morning.
where is the store at?
Okay, I have 4 Dixie Marts in Minden, but we have 28, and all the other ones sell alcohol, so.
No, I'm just saying because they hadn't had alcohol in Minden period, so the customer's not used to anything.
I'm talking about in general. So, if they go to Buzz Buy, they can buy, it doesn't matter what time of day it is, or night. But if they go to Spring Hill, they can start buying at 6, except for on Sundays. And then, I was just giving you examples of the other parishes, of how they do it.
And we're not really restricting people from being able to buy alcohol, we're restricting them from being able to buy alcohol from us at a gas station, which to me inherently, I don't understand the problem with the gas station being able to sell till 11 or 12, whatever it may be. I mean, they can still go buy alcohol in town, it's not like they couldn't, it's just they can't buy from me because we have gas pumps out front, which I don't really understand the correlation there. You know, it kind of feels like it restricts our ability to satisfy customers, you know.
Can I ask, what is the logic behind that, or why, I mean, the why behind it, I guess?
Old ordinance on the books, never removed on city ordinances.
But it used to be, the old one was where you couldn't sell alcohol, period, with gasoline.
Right.
You're changing that now, so why is the time, I mean, I'm just trying to understand the logic on the time. What sense does it make?
I can tell you one, sir, in the neighborhood I live in Mr. Taylor area, I think that what they're saying is this: if you get in a vehicle, 3 people, over there where I live at, came to my yard, I have my gas meter out, stone drunk, ran over, and that, if I hadn't have got, my mother planted a sundown, and he hit that, he was stone drunk. Now, how did he get out the road into my yard, and my gas meter is right there, he was there the whole house, there, to Miss Wellhouse next door. If it was some way for a man that know that he's stone drunk and can't get into his vehicle and run into the gas pump, I don't see nothing wrong with it. And then, by the time they call you, the whole neighborhood is blowing.
Oh, we have, concrete barriers around
But
our,
that's good, keep them up,
yeah.
or you don't need it.
But they can do that at any time of the day.
I know,
It's like, you're gonna have bars, so people leaving bars, so,
Yeah.
well,
I mean.
well, easy to say.
There's no logic behind
Well,
restricting a convenience store on their hours,
Yeah.
and you're not restricting the bars and the Walmarts and.
Yeah, if somebody don't run into the gas pump and blow us all up.
What were the hours that you guys decided on the last meeting?
They decided on between the hours of 12:01 p.m. and 6:59 a.m. Monday through Saturday, and between the hours of 10:01 p.m. till 11:59 a.m. Like they can start selling beer and everything on Sunday at noon when church gets out.
But that's package.
But that's package, yes.
Never
That's
convenience stores and
package.
gas
Convenience
stations.
stores,
That's-
no,
that-
convenience
You just read it right
stores.
off the convenience store and gas station.
Yeah, that,
You said 12.
That's my next question, I was
Where
gonna
does
get to that.
Walmart fall in this?
Walmart and Brookshire's, which classification are they gonna be?
Package, wouldn't they?
they're gonna fall under package, just like Petrol. I would
Well,
think.
now, we got
Wait,
packages.
You're right, I'm sorry, they would follow the package.
Mr. Medfield, may I say, maybe that old ordinance was written with the gas stations when we brought in alcohol for restaurants. Wasn't that probably when all that was done? And was it done because to keep a gas station or convenience store from selling food and being a restaurant and being able to sell alcohol maybe? That was what it was maybe at that time? Cause you know, some convenience stores have a food bar.
Yeah.
And they could slip in through there and say, well, we're a restaurant and, we could sell, you know, beer. And so I think that's why that ordinance that was back then.
And that
So
was-
I don't think the ordinance fits now, it's just, we just brought it forward. That's just my opinion on it.
And that was really more, I mean, to qualify as a restaurant, you're serving to a consumer who's
Right.
going in to eat food and drink.
Right.
This is, you know, I'm a gas station trying to be a package seller
Right.
now, not a,
Right.
you know, we're never going to be able to sell
Right.
beer. with
And that old
people.
ordinance was written just to keep that from ever
From us
kind of
selling,
coming up,
yeah.
I think, just
Yeah.
as somebody trying to be a restaurant in a slang, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
So
Which we
Walmart
tried.
can sell until midnight,
Yeah.
but if,
We're
but
gonna
Dixie
shut our
Mart has
package.
to stop
You
at
know,
10. That doesn't seem
I-
fair.
I
You have
feel,
enough trouble competing with Walmart, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
I mean, you know, I would like to see our petrol convenience stores sell till 11. They close at 11 anyway, so it's gonna be,
We're gonna have an hour
It's a-
of weird time there, and that's,
you know,
Yeah, you have
that's just a
employees
weird
and-
time. You know, it's just gonna be easier to shut it down at 11. And we would be easy with everything else.
And they can't start selling until 7.
They can't start
Can't sell
selling
after
until
10
7.
p.m.
Yeah.
But you wanna make this change here?
I mean, I'm
It
fine.
sounds decent to me, Dixie Mart, all of them closed at the same time.
I think that's what we should do, guys. I mean, our thing is to create economic development and get higher taxes in the city. We're just gonna encourage them to go down to Dixie and to Buzz Buy to get all of their gasoline and everything else. And, you know,
I mean, what's another hour?
yeah, I mean,
Makes
yeah.
no sense to
I mean,
me.
another hour is not a deal
It'd be
breaker.
easier probably to be enforced anyway, when it's more across the board.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be,
So they still start at 7 in the morning, right?
yeah. I mean, you got somebody walking in around in the store and they don't get up there, oh, sorry, you missed it by 30 seconds, go put it back. You know, just let them let it stay to 11 and then it's easy. It's not,
Yeah,
it's not tempting that cashier either, that's my buddy, but somebody's sitting out there watching and it causes problems.
I'm in favor of that.
Trish, what we were talking about while you stepped out was, you know, it's only an hour
That's right, you
difference
make all
from 10
the
to 11.
notations, right, you would come.
It'd just be easier to make it 11 o'clock.
After
there won't be
27 years, he still looks like
confusion
a
with the
fun day.
customer in the store and all that type of jazz.
But I know yours.
That's good.
Dixie Mart's closed at 11. Yeah.
we close before
Circle K.
11 right now, but I mean,
All them.
Circle K is 24 hours.
Open 24 hours.
Circle K is 24 hours then, and they'll have it, so they have to stop at
At
11.
11 o'clock, but that will be consistent, you know.
I mean, if it does, I don't.
Well,
if it
Walmart
doesn't
can sell it to
justify being
midnight.
open, We'll just close earlier, you know, I mean, if we don't generate enough money to stay open, we're gonna still close at 10. But you know, if the opportunity's there and it justifies staying open a little bit longer, then of course we want to, you know,
But
if
the
we can make money, then we're gonna try and do that, you know.
But the Dixie Mart stay open till, 11. Love's is 24 hours,
Mhm.
but we forget about Love, they're inside the city. So,
Well, and I'm pretty sure them other 2 truck stops out there gonna want to
they're
come
across,
in.
they're outside.
I know, but they're not in the city
They're
limits,
outside,
but what
they're
I'm
gonna
saying,
wanna be annexed in as soon as this.
they're probably gonna wanna be
passes, you know.
annexed in.
Then we'll take all that tax money,
Yeah,
you know.
we're, and
Come
we're
on.
gonna welcome them in.
I don't see anything wrong with 11.
Okay, so we'll change that to
But
11.
they can't start selling till 7 now.
Correct. Okay. Are you good with that, Ms. Walker?
I mean, we make an exception for one chain of store, Dixie Mart.
No.
Well, I think everybody,
That's what Dixie
Well,
Mart.
they only gonna be selling,
be
They're only gonna sell beer and wine.
0.6 or lower,
low content.
6. That's 6, right?
Yes, sir, or lower, 6% or
Huh?
lower.
6% or lower.
So no wine.
No, sir,
Or
we
some
have wine
wines
coolers,
are
but they're under
9,
6%.
11, 12.
We only have wine coolers and they're under 6%.
I'm saying no wine. Wine coolers is not wine.
Okay.
Wine coolers is wine. It's all beer.
Wine cooler, wine is, some wine is
It's
12, 13%.
Anything 6% or lower. Kool-Aid coolers, wine coolers, whatever.
Alright.
Cause there's some wines that's under 6%.
Huh?
It is some wines under 6%.
Yeah, some wine,
Yeah.
13, 14%.
Yeah, but they don't sell those in the.
Right, Mike? Yeah.
Well, actually, on that topic, I had another thing I wanted to, ask. You know, I think, we would very much like to be able to sell craft beers, such as, you know, the Great Raft, the Red River products. You know, some of those beer contents now on craft beers are as high as probably close to 10%, I would guess. I don't know, Ghost in the Machine's pretty popular from Parish Brewing. It's like a 9% beer. You know, I would like the opportunity, you know, we're not interested in selling booze or spirits or anything of that nature, but, you know, we would, you know, if it's a beer, we would be interested in selling it, you know, and, you know, we can't, I think as it's written now, there's gonna be certain beers that are, you know, we may have a brewery pop up in Minden, you know, I hope we do. And if they make good enough beers to bottle and sell around the state, that we may not even be able to sell those beers in my store. Again, it becomes, because we have gas pumps outside is the limiting factor. And, I don't, if there was a way, I would ask for, you know, if they could bump that number to 10% or, you know, something along those lines to allow us.
Say in here somewhere that
Now it says the different
convenience
permits.
store can't get,
Yes.
Class A high alcohol?
I believe that they'll.
Yes.
In state law.
No, state law doesn't say you can't do that. I mean, we have Circle K's in the state selling pints of liquor. I've got customers in other cities selling liquor behind the counter. I'm not interested in doing that. I don't wanna do that, but, you know, I am, you know, and I think the craft beer market is like 24% of the beer market in the United States right now. So we're talking about 25% of beers that are sold. These aren't these aren't like buying fists of whiskey. This is just a beer that's marginally stronger than others. That, you know, we would like to be able to represent the whole state. You know, the state's got probably 20-ish craft brews or craft producers, you know, in Shreveport and Bossier. You know, there's the Great Raft and there's the Red River Brewing, and I know Monroe's got some popping up, and I expect it. You know, it's a growing market that we'll see more and more people get into, and, you know, for what it's worth, we would like to have the opportunity to sell those things.
Mr. Matthews, does this ordinance say anywhere that he can't get a high alcohol permit
Which one?
at a convenience store? The ordinance in front of you.
I believe it does on there.
Which number?
That
No,
would
I'm
be-
asking you.
That'd be in the definition to know it doesn't.
It doesn't.
I don't think it put any limitation on
Do y'all not have a limitation on high alcohol content for this? Cause the state's gonna define, I believe it's defined, there's low alcohol content, and then there's high alcohol content, cause you may can clear me up on that.
High alcohol
Class.
content is anything containing more than 6% by volume.
Yeah,
Low alcohol content means beverages containing no more than 6% by volume.
so are y'all saying that,
A Class A license is for on-premise consumption, and a Class B license is for off-premise consumption.
Right,
And you can get either one of those in a high or a low content, and there's different prices for each one of them.
I know I
And then
heard
there's
Mr. Bradford just say that no wine in the store, and that was,
Well, that's why I'm asking, because I don't see in here anywhere where it says you can't get a Class be high alcohol.
He's back on
I'm just looking back here at the permit
and
fees
fees.
that talk about the different kind of licenses.
What did you just read?
Okay, well, the definition of convenience store is a small retail business that stocks a range of everyday items. In some jurisdictions, convenience stores are licensed to sell low-content alcohol such as beer and wine. A convenience store may be part of a gas petrol station.
Yeah.
So it
I
looks like
don't-
it's kind of up to the jurisdiction.
Well, I'm just putting my head in the ring right here and just saying, like, I know there's some sentiment around here that, I've heard that, you know, there's some negative opinion on gas stations selling high alcohol content. And if that is the sentiment that y'all come up with, that y'all don't want convenience stores selling pints and stuff like that of booze, I might ask that you know, allow us like a 10% number, so we aren't gonna exclude some beer offerings that we would otherwise be able to sell.
This is, again, my personal opinion, and I don't have a vote, but we don't want, I say we, I don't think it would be a wise idea for convenience stores to sell Crown Royal or Charlie vodka, tequila, whatever. If y'all wanna change it to 10% where he can sell malt, not malt, but, craft beer, you know, that shouldn't be a big issue, but I think that's where it needs to stop. I think that's where it needs to stop. You know, we need to have liquor stores, and gas stations, gas stations, you know, and if we're gonna let them sell craft beer, which it is getting popular, you know.
May I make a compromise suggestion?
Sure.
That we start out with what's written, and then when the craft beers do come into town, that we go back and issue a different type permit for craft beers.
That sounds reasonable to me.
You'll get everything digested that way. Would you be okay with that?
I'm not real sure, so you're saying like,
Well, right
Please.
now, we're talking what ifs.
yeah.
So why don't we act on what we have written today?
Mm-hmm.
When craft beers become a popular item, that we come back and we add to, amend the definition of convenience store so that it includes beer up to 10%.
Right, well, I mean, y'all can do what you want, I'm just saying that craft beer day one is a popular item to me.
Okay.
And I'd like to have it on the shelf day one, and, that's all I'm saying, I mean, you know, I'm gonna follow the rules here, I'm just saying, I would suggest that.
Well, I'd say from my experience, craft beer is not even 10% of our beer. Very little of our sales is craft beer, very little.
Well, I mean, of course, you know, the customers that have been going to your store in DCN for a while may not be the same ones that are coming to my store for barbecue or something, and if we have a chance to grab them with something, you know, I don't wanna be restricted, and I know that it's, you know, you're gonna sell Bud Light and Coors Light and that way more often than you'll sell anything else, but I don't wanna be, you know, I feel like an independent business person, I'd like to be more inclusive on what we can do and not less inclusive, you know, but that's just my 50 cents, so, but.
Mr. Minifield, these closing hours, where this is being addressed, right here. Can that be changed? Beverages of low alcoholic content and or beer at or under 10%?
Is closing
I
hours
don't think we need to
is
change it, we
closing,
need to leave it at low alcohol content. If they wanna get anything else, they go to the package house, it's a convenience store.
Mr. Manfield, is that the appropriate place to even address that?
No, not
Cause
in
we're
the.
talking about hours there, we're
No.
not talking about whether,
No.
it needs to be spelled out clearly
Yeah, I mean,
somewhere else.
yeah, it needs to be under your gas petrol, but not under your closing hours.
Well, whatever you all wanna agree on,
Yeah.
we'll find what,
There needs to be a section
but
saying,
right now, we got two different views. Y'all, I guess y'all gonna have to vote on that.
So what's the consensus of y'all as far as changing it to above 6%? What's your thought on that, Ms. Walker?
No.
We know what Ms. Bloxham did.
I think we should just leave it as it is right now.
Mr. Bradford?
Leave it as it is.
Okay, so let's leave it as is, and if it
With
gains,
the opportunity to amend it.
with the opportunity to
Always
amend it.
have.
Here's the thing, if we
on.
go back and we amend, we wanna make provisions for people, then you'll continue making provisions, why? We just leave it like it is, and if they go to the package house, or go somewhere else.
Well, I think what Pam's talking about, if we have somebody come to town,
Okay, but if we start making provisions.
I understand.
Then we have to continue to make provisions, and go and amend and amend. So when does it end?
I don't think those things ever end in a city, you
Yeah,
know?
they
They're always changing.
you always make, laws are always changing.
Always redoing ordinance.
Okay, so the consensus right now is we're gonna leave it like it is. Keep it, and close it later. Okay. The next one talks about, alcohol beverages in motor vehicles, 6-6. That's a state law. Anybody have any questions about that?
There's a typo in number C that I will fix. It
Well,
says
we have-
knowingly debar
Six,
allowed
six.
to be keep.
For me now?
Item C, under 6-6, there's a typo.
I see
D
it.
needs to go to keep.
I'm gonna back up to 6.5.1.
Okay,
Special event temporary alcohol permit issued,
yes, sir.
maybe for 3 consecutive days on, is that a permit through the state?
Yes. The state issues that permit. It can't be for more than 3 days. Okay, back to,
So that's a state law.
back to 6-6. So what about 6-7, alcoholic beverages in public places? That defines what an open container is. You know, it's unlawful for any person to possess an alcoholic beverage in the city with an open container in parking lot, streets, sidewalks, public places defined, except during special city-approved community events as to which a special event permit has been issued by the city and only within the area specified in the permit. We talked about that last time about, in Tariq's district, downtown Main Street and, the historic area, when they have, you know, whether there's really no main car club or whatever they're having down there.
But they still have to get a state permit, right, for 3
You,
consecutive days?
you have to get the state permit to have the permit to sell it for 3 days. And that, it defines over the state that it can't be just, I go by one, it defines nonprofits, church groups, civic groups, and things like that. It just can't be because I wanna set up on the street corner and sell beer or
So how
something.
many church groups?
So let's go back to, Catholics,
What, it'll change.
where it says, terminology is not permitted to sell, serve, handle, or dispense alcohol beverages with high, low alcohol, on-premise consumption. That means that
They turn it into Kool-Aid.
Like a beer, they can't drink your beer because it says on-premise consumption.
Yes, I mean, you can, but.
No walking with it and all of
No,
that.
you can't. Permissible hours to sell, serve, handle, dispense alcohol for special event temporary alcohol permits. The permit holder is hereby permitted to sell, serve, handle, or dispense alcoholic beverage with high and low content for on-premise consumption within the city between hours 10 a.m. and 12 midnight any day. But then it goes down where it talks about the special events where you can walk around with it in a designated area.
Where is it?
In that case, that on premises will be as the designated area.
Where is that, where is it? Designated area?
Where down here it says, it shall be,
6-7?
yeah,
They're public places.
it shall be unlawful. Then it shall be unlawful, open container.
Except area.
except during the special events.
When it has been issued by the city with an area specified in the permit.
It's just kinda like it has been, you know, they have specific places that they can go with it. And 6-7 talks about it being what's unlawful.
So it was, like, I didn't do no reading, but, I hope parks are off of here, you can't drink in parks and stuff like that.
That's eliminated.
No.
And that's in the application, you can't apply for a
Parks,
special
recreation.
event.
Yeah, it's out.
No, yeah, you
What
can't
number
have
is
it
it?
down
Right there,
The
six,
first one, 8,
well, 6C, that's one of the places. Public streets, parks, highways,
yeah.
parking lots, streets, sidewalks, alleys, and other public places.
that's in a vehicle.
Yeah, but still, I mean, it's the same thing, someplace else.
I have a trustee, I have a trustee that, concern, don't understand it. Okay, we have a fair in October.
But what now?
We have a fair in October, here in October, we have the city fair.
Mhm.
Are you gonna be able to say it to everything, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Let me ask you a question. What if I decide to have a outdoor softball tournament? And I file with the state for this special event temporary alcohol permit, can you do that?
Where are you gonna have the, where you gonna sell the
I
alcohol?
mean, are you gonna have it at one of your parks?
No.
So beer league softball?
Yeah.
Beer league softball?
No,
No what?
I mean.
no, you can't have it, you can't have it in parks. It's gonna be in a defined area.
I mean,
But if
it says here that the state can give me a temporary permit for 3 days. And if it's an outdoor tournament, they do have outdoor softball tournaments in places.
Then,
What's
I
the
mean,
deal?
I'm just asking.
well, I mean,
You can't
well,
We
say
apply for baseball.
let's say this. Let's say this, if the state issues you a permit for a club or organization to sell alcohol, then y'all are the council, and they bring it to y'all and y'all make a decision on it. That's how that reads down in here. So, I mean, if y'all allow the adults to sell there, that'd be the council or commissioners or whatever you wanna call yourselves. In that particular instance.
The state's not the final word, it's the first word.
The state's the first word. Because it's, you know, up to the council to define the areas that they're gonna sell it.
So you could have an adult softball thing at the rec center and the council gave you a special.
If the council gives them special permission, yes.
Cups and stuff like that.
You can bring it.
No, you really was right.
I understand.
Yeah, I mean, it's under 6-7.
Yeah, it's.
It
Six
shall be
open
unlawful
container.
to have any alcohol in the city in any parking lot, street, sidewalk, or other public place, except if we approve it, like what you just said. So, parks or public places.
Alright, can we
What-
move on to something else now?
6-8 Bottle Club. Mr. Hall, you gonna have a bottle club?
No, I don't think so.
I didn't think that was an option.
It's a
I
private
thought you
place
said
where you
that-
carry your bottle in,
BYOB
and
club.
you
Did you
get,
not have a bottle?
and you get money for uncorking
Well,
bottles that someone brings in to.
I bring my booze to your,
You pay for that.
I have to pay you to get in and bring my own.
She had that permit. See, uncorked.
But I don't have inventory, I don't have,
Right, and this could be restaurant or nightclub or pool hall or whatever,
or Jimmy Hall's place.
or, yeah. Is that how, I know I go to Luigi's in Arcadia, and you can bring your
Mhm.
ice chest of beer in, sit down and get you a prime rib steak and have your beer.
But they don't charge,
They don't charge me for the beer.
because they don't do a bottle club.
Right.
But this covers bottle club because the state
Is that
covers
kinda like
bottle club.
BYOL?
That BYOB,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what
I
BYOB
thought we
was.
decided against this bottle club
No, that was
thing.
just a state, it was in the,
It's
it's
a
in the
state,
state law.
it's just a state definition.
I said it in the state thing.
Okay,
So we're not doing it,
no,
okay.
as far as I'm concerned, but y'all make
Because
the final
there's-
call on
We're
that.
not doing
Back here where we talked about permits, there's, I don't, in
There's
this
not a
class A,
permit
B,
for
or
it.
C, I don't see anything
So
on
we're
there
not
that says
gonna,
bottle club.
we're not gonna do 6 point -8? I mean, it could be a private club, you can do it.
Yeah, but if it's private, you can do what you want to in the club.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have
But
to
it's
get
just no, it's just
permission
no,
for
no application for it.
that. No.
Yeah, strip club.
Oh.
We're not, yeah.
Let's-
Move on.
Race to the finish.
It's coming.
Right, but I mean, it's coming.
You know, I guess, any club that allows their
So if the state says yes,
memberships to bring in
Yeah.
alcohol
Yeah, we don't have
technically
an issue.
falls under bottle club.
Everybody look at the
They
bills
don't
from
have a
that
license
616.
permit to do it.
You're in that same chair,
Or
right?
You just have to go
car
through.
club or anything. I don't know, no more.
616. All persons shall annually obtain from the city a permit as approved by this article before engaging in the business. You know, they gotta get state, they gotta go through state and the sales tax commission before they ever get to us, so that's just a state requirement. 617, separate permit required for each business. That means like in Dixie Mart, they gotta have a permit for each location. Ours, he's left, but both of he can't piggyback off his 2 stores. They have to have 2 separate. Does anybody have any questions about that? And the same thing goes if it was a restaurant or something. Any questions? 618, notice of application. Prior to making application for a retail dealer's permit, each applicant shall insert appropriate sign notice. In the newspaper, you get your other, sign from the state when you apply with them, but you gotta also run it in the newspaper before you come to the.
That's all right by the state law.
Yeah, that's all right by the state law. And it lists them down in there. It talks about if a husband and wife owns the place and the spouse dies, how long you have to get it or whatever. 619 talks about the application. You gotta have, Louisiana Department of Revenue, you gotta have account numbers. It says somewhere in there, you gotta be in good standing with, sales tax office, you gotta have occupational license.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Notice of application, so if his opposition to a business that has applied, then what?
That would be Mr. Cooley, if somebody.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you were asking.
So, if a business has applied the application, so if his opposition, then what, how is it handled?
That's handled through either the board or the administrator, which I believe would be the.
Commission.
And what is
Yeah.
opposition, like, what is it?
That's what-
Right, if it's a
Opposition.
community and they wanna
Don't
put a
have it there.
business, sell alcohol there and they don't want them to, then there's opposition, they don't want it.
Right.
Opposition
So
of how
what
many
we do?
signatures?
Well-
You need to apply through the commission. That's where you start, and if you got if the commissioner approves it,
State
how could
commission.
the local, municipality has to accept it?
Are you talking about like, let's say somebody wants to put a bar on a residential street.
Mhm.
Well, first of all, it's not gonna go anywhere because it's not zoned commercial.
But, even if it is, then the community does not want it.
Well, then,
There's opposition to it, so what do you mean, how do you handle it?
Alright, so we have a convenience store that wants alcohol and the community doesn't want it in that certain area, they have to look.
Well, if, I'm gonna say if all the neighbors send letters to this, I mean, they're gonna apply with the state first. So if the state issues a permit, are we obligated? Are we obligated?
But then it
If-
goes to
if
the
some-
zoning commission.
If the building in question meets all of the criteria for the business, and they go to the state and they get their license approved through the state, and then they go to the clerk's office and they get their permits approved through the city, the community can't say, we don't want you to have it there.
Well, they
What's
can
the
say
point
it.
in putting
They can
those
say it, but there's not even
They
an
can
action
show up
do
at
it.
the city council meeting and poll up, I mean, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
or come to us and we would have to deal with it, cause I've seen that happen in Shreveport.
Yeah, I mean, it can happen, so
In
my
fact,
thing is, how are we
This is what's
dealing
going on
with
over
it, so
in
what?
Shreveport right now.
That's why you
Oh, it
have
sure
that.
was, it was going on over there on Mansfield
It's
Road,
going on.
on Mansfield
I'm
Road.
just saying,
I'm
so
saying
it's,
that gets
so
brought to the
if we
council.
can't say no,
That's why you have
why
the
do they have to
ABC
have a
board.
notice of
That's
application?
Cause it gets
If the
taken to
Well,
the
if-
ABC
if
board
we're gonna run-
and hashed out,
that's a
and
good
then
question.
if they appeal the ABC board,
Because
they
you
can
have to
come to the
comply with
council.
state law.
Yeah, you're complying, but the community doesn't want it, you said state is first, but not final. So that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that they can put that business there, so my question again is, how is this going to be handled? If they can get it
That's
anyway,
up to
what's
the
the
council.
point in doing
Yeah,
a
it
notice of
is.
application?
That's up to the council to
There's-
approve
there's
it, because
another-
it happened in Shreveport on.
Well, but
I
you
know
were
they would
saying that if
they would
they
have
meet the
to-
criteria, then they can get
They
it.
would have to appeal it to the
To
council.
the council.
I mean, there's a
Yeah.
process for it, but it would
Yeah, cause it
come,
happened in Shreveport.
it would come to the council or to the ABC board or whatever the
Yeah. And it's,
board
I
is.
mean, if
Six
you run it in the
ninety-one,
paper,
thank you, 691.
We're the board.
it's,
yeah,
maybe-
691.
Over there across from,
Six
It can
ninety-one,
happen.
691 gives the
Probably
council
would.
the authority.
Oh, you know.
The council has
Some
the
council
authority.
member come to the council and we had all discussing and stuff. And I guess we could deny, we could
Yeah.
write and deny anything.
On 691, it says the city council or the ABC be appointed and given authority for the purpose of refusing permits, refusing alcoholic beverage operator A, B, and O employee cards, giving suspension, revoking permits for the sale or handling of beer and other alcoholic beverages. So,
We have the ultimate, we have the say.
Well, yeah,
So
okay,
So
they
they
can
could
appeal
very
it.
well not get it, so
Liquor
that's, I
license.
just wanna make sure, okay.
but,
People in your life
I-
come to you, I mean, you gotta bring it to the council.
Right.
That's what I would think.
And they could.
If it's over there in my district
Yeah.
and there's, and I have 25, 30, 35, I mean, people start contacting me and us, then I'm gonna bring it to the attention of the council and say, I think we have an issue here. I hadn't heard any opposition so far, but this one's causing some opposition. Citizens are concerned.
Yeah.
And that's where I think we would take up the ball and start talking about it, maybe meet, you know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. And then from what you just read, we have the right to deny that if we.
Yeah.
So, and I guess they can say whatever they wanna do.
Well, after us, it goes to
Yeah.
court.
Right.
Right.
yeah, but still, the state's not even gonna think about issuing a permit in the middle of a residential area. It's gonna have
Not,
to be.
it
Well,
doesn't have
you
to be
can-
residential.
I understand.
There is, in my district, there's a convenience store right over there on Louisville Road with all that houses around, you know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of thing that's come up Shreveport, where you have a store on the corner with people all around, it, kids over there playing bikes there, and that's what the problem is. I already see that over there.
And what we may wanna do is address that with our zoning ordinances where the residential, there's a residential business classification, which is what those stores that are, and businesses that are in that, you may wanna write it in that zoning ordinance that no alcohol sales allowed in that zoning district.
Talking about that Dixie Mart over there?
It's on Louisville Road,
Louisville Road.
you know what I'm talking about? On the corner of Louisville
Neighborhood
and Cherry.
commercial, that's the name of the zone.
I'm just saying that, I know that's a busy road, but that's all resident, there's a business nearby, but it's all houses, people live all around there, not far from me, I mean, it's just all, that's what I'm saying. And I'm not saying that'll be a problem, may not be a problem, most people in that area may not care. There's a church down the road that's
Well,
probably than 300.
But regardless, to
But-
answer her question, there is an appeals process.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, Dixie Mart's gonna apply, they're gonna get their license there. It starts being a problem, and they have shootings there and whatever. right here, revoking permits. So,
Yeah, so
you know,
there's a process.
okay, we're under applications.
One number.
619.
618, 619.
Does anybody have any questions there? You see, you see number 3 down there where it says, the commissioner may suspend or terminate the authority of agent to act, you know, so.
You got yours almost up. Let me fix it.
620, administrative issuance. Does everybody understand 620? It says if the city clerk or his designee denies the application, refuses to take action on such application within 30 days of stripping out the application, such action shall be final, subject to review by the court as provided in the state Louisiana alcohol control.
Read that one more time. Read it one more time.
Upon the application for a permit as provided in this article, the city clerk, after proper investigation, including consultants with the chief of police or his designee, may issue the permit when it meets all the requirements of the article and other clauses. However, if the city clerk or his designee denies the application or refuses to take action on such application within 30 days of the receipt of the application, such action shall be final, subject only to review by the court as provided in the Louisiana Alcohol and Tobacco Control Law.
Yeah, they got 30 days to appeal it.
That means they got 30 days to appeal, basically. Down 621's certification of the police department. Unless the applicant is seeking to renew his alcoholic beverage permit, he shall be fingerprinted, photographed, furnish his physical home address, social security number, date of birth, valid picture identification, any other information required by the city clerk or the chief of police. Some of that changes when you get into Walmart applying for theirs or a big chain account, things like that. And it goes down here and it talks about, felony, convicted, talks about juveniles. Does anybody wanna talk about any particular number down there?
Was it 622?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All that's off the state as well.
Yeah, that's all state. Nothing we can change. Number 11 talks about if they owe the state or local governmental subdivisions, delinquent sales tax penalties, interest, and all that. So if somebody's in arrears in their sales tax with the state or occupational license, they're gonna find that out before they issue on the state level, before they get down here. That's why they have to go to the sales tax office to get a letter. It goes down to B, C. It's pretty thorough in all this, about the background checks.
And this is basically the state, they gotta jump through the hoop with the state before they come to us.
Oh, yeah, yeah. There'll be plenty aggravated by the time they get here.
The only thing that troubles me about this is this, I'm back at 620.
620.
Highlight the city clerk or his designee, I'm just trying to If you remind who the designee would be.
That'd be Jane, would that be Jane?
The assistant city clerk.
Okay,
It says on the city clerk, oh, I see where it says designate, okay, assistant city clerk.
I would for a stronger person that doesn't need to be there. How about the council?
The council's the ABC board.
I know they are. But I'd rather for them to, somebody to be there to have a little more logic and strength, because a person is gonna sue for this. And if
what
we deny,
number are you on, Mr.
unjustified,
Benfield? 20, number 20?
does that mean that we're gonna be responsible?
But is that not saved? But that's revised statute.
I know what it's running, that's the law that's referenced. But I'm talking about not the city clerk, it designate. Because, I mean, I'm not bad mouthing any city employees or anything like that, all I'm saying is, a lot of our employees are not gonna be up on this like they should be.
You want the city attorney there?
No,
No.
like for the council.
I just thought I'd throw that out there.
What, does it, wouldn't it be designate?
No, I don't mind. I'd rather have knowing that this
Well,
person
but
is
the-
gonna be able to go to court.
Does it
it-
have
it-
that
it
mean
doesn't-
the clerk designates?
It
and
doesn't
you
need
have
to be the
designate?
council, because the city clerk or his designee's gonna deny it, and he's gonna come to y'all, or she, is gonna come to y'all for an appeal. I mean, you can put the mayor there, I can deny it just as easy, and they come to y'all for an appeal. So it's just, whatever y'all wanna do.
Whoever does it.
Says designate, if he denied the application, then the guy got, within 30 days,
To take it to y'all.
then, no, if there's any inaction within 30 days, then he can go to the court within 30 days. After 30 days period, he goes straight to the court. So I'd rather for him to go to somebody else in the city, if the city clerk denies him, before we get to the court, because then we start dealing with money. And if the denial was not justified, then we paying off a big fine. Loss of employment and that kind of thing.
Well, I guess if the city clerk decides that he wants to deny, we'll just have a special call city council meeting, and we'll sit around the table and discuss about it.
Thank you. Before he denies, I mean, before he give notice.
That works.
Yeah,
So
that's what we need to do.
just put down here, the,
Just
city
about
clerk
his
or,
designee.
Well, why was the city clerk denied if it was approved through the state already?
They just
That's why we
cover-
wanna
you're covering
make
your
sure we
bases.
cover our rear ends.
I mean, chances are, it's slim to none, but still,
Well, it might,
This
they may
is
be talking
designee.
about, like Ms. Ricky was talking about, if somebody in the community
Yeah.
was opposing it, the state approved it. But if you meet all the state guidelines and the city guidelines, I don't think that, I'm like Mr. Minifield, you're gonna face a lawsuit if you say, we denied it just because.
I don't want that
As
to
long
come
as
through
you-
the council, I ain't got no money.
You're not,
Sovereign
you can't be sued at the council, the city can be sued, yeah. But I think we need to have a little more strength there, rather than a designee. And I think the city council needs to be there, or I'll be there.
Just to deny something just
Well,
because.
Yeah.
the city clerk can designate you.
okay, then let's say city clerk or city attorney.
Okay.
And I'll,
And then I'll be calling you all, telling you all what's going on.
Mr. Fleur,
It's unpractical. The way how these, alcohol licenses been applied. For example, take Roma's.
okay,
The gentleman is coming in, has all his paperwork together. He is sitting in the office there and waiting on the signature. That's the way how it goes. If somebody has to chase any other designate down, you're gonna have a heck of a flag coming, I tell you that.
Well,
And by the way, Mr. Littlefield, if the assistant city clerk is allowed with the mayor's signature to sign a check for $1 million, and you want to deny the signature on the liquor license, that's unpractical.
I don't
That's
think,
not what
I don't think he's talking about the signature, I think about a good
I wasn't
distinction.
criticizing you.
No, I'm not talking, I'm talking for practical purpose. The way how these licenses been applied. It's not that we're gonna sit there and gonna wait 20 days before we issue a license.
Well, the thing about it is, if Roma's goes and applies for liquor license, they're gonna get it from the state, they're gonna run it in the newspaper. If people see that and they don't like it, we're gonna know about it before they get here. So, you know.
The only practical deny is if there is some paperwork missing. For an example, if the sales tax commission is not issuing the letter, then we do not issue the license. It has to be complete.
Well,
And
that's
the final decision is everything together? Yes, we issue the license.
Well, I think the thing, you brought up a valid point, we're gonna deny quite a few because they're not gonna have their letter from the sales tax commission.
Well,
Or they're gonna not
okay.
have run it in the newspaper, so,
And he's gonna have a checklist.
yeah,
And if he's not.
yeah, there's a
the city
checklist.
clerk should have that
Yeah,
checklist.
yeah, there's a checklist.
Now, if you want to withhold the signature until the council comes around and says, yes, we all agree that a person so-and-so can open up a business of any kind where alcohol is involved, then good night, America. It takes a whole month.
That's
So
not-
you're saying it's not practical for a business to be denied a license? Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm
No,
saying.
he's talking about.
What
that.
I'm saying is if the city clerk is not available, the assistant city clerk should have the authority to sign it, because the designee is the assistant city clerk.
So she should be able to sign it.
Something wasn't practical, I missed it.
Oh, okay.
If it doesn't work, we'll come back and change it.
Okay. It may not even come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when is that March?
So-
When we have a new city clerk?
Oh, I don't know.
So we probably will come up with it before.
Would it be
Okay.
practical, hey, Michael, would it be practical for, those applications to be brought to City Hall on certain days between certain hours? No?
Not really,
Okay.
because
I was just asking, that's all.
I had somebody in today. They want to open up a restaurant in Midland. But they need to renovate first, and. She had questions, or the person had questions concerning, what is it called, the occupational license. Okay, I helped her with the occupational license. It was done over the people are coming in, they want the result.
Right then, yeah, I understand that.
And if I gonna tell them, okay, well,
Come back
in
on
7
Tuesday,
days,
2 o'clock.
Yeah,
come back, it doesn't work that way.
right. Okay,
It's like when you're gonna go to the driver license bureau.
yeah. Right, okay. Just a thought.
I understand, and it sounds okay, but the way how it is, people are coming in, they expect in an hour latest to go walk out and have their license. And we have to do the job. If they have all the paperwork together, and there is a checklist, you have to have this, and this, and this. And if you don't have the state license, meanwhile the state is saying, well, the city has to issue first the license. The way how it's handled is, the state is coming to the place, looking at the place, gonna call us and say, you can issue the license because we issued the license.
Okay.
That's
So
how
the
it
question was,
works.
Can you have a certain time that they come in, so why couldn't we add it?
Because the practicality of it all. is-
You never, they wanna come in all hours of
Yeah,
the day.
you don't have, and what
Well,
we're trying to
you
do
let
is to
people
make,
know.
and what we're trying to
That's the
do
way
is
you
make
do
it as easy as possible for them to do business here.
But the best thing to do is keep a log and log in, every time this person come in, they sign. Especially cause a lot of them gonna have to be coming back.
Bringing additional information.
Right.
Well, they'll have, when they come in the very first time, they'll be given what they need, you know, a checklist. And so if they're a good business person, they'll have all their boxes checked before they come back.
Well, 624 talks about if the city clerk disapproves one.
624?
Yeah, and, I mean, it goes to the city council, that the aggrieved person appeals to the city council. So, 620,
I hope so.
do 620 and 624
I
jive?
hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot to go.
620 just gives him the authority, administrative authority, and this tells you about the appeal process.
620 is who you need to go see.
Mhm.
So we're on 621 now.
24.
624.
We skipped 21, 22.
No, I was just looking at 624 along with 620.
Oh, okay. So we're on 21.
Because there is an appeal for those people that were disapproved,
623,
and it's the city
interposed
council.
person.
I guess 620 is kind of a different animal from that, or something. Okay. Alrighty.
So there's a echo right there with 623.
Okay.
Mr. Minfield, you want to explain 623?
Any misstatements?
Interposed
Question?
persons,
So,
interposed persons.
no permit shall be issued to any person who is interposed, is an interposed person, whoever that is, for the owner of a proprietorship or business, somebody acting for somebody else, that's what it is.
Mhm.
And on the other hand, the city may require full disclosure in writing and on oath of the details of the operation of any person or suspect of being interposed for another. The city council may summarily rule before the city council for examination of the person suspected of being an interposed person. Is an interposed person just somebody that's really acting for somebody else?
Would that be like somebody coming in that can't speak English and the other person's representing them, you know, is that what that would be?
That could be that too.
And what we looked up the other day was like a banker or an
Mhm.
attorney representing someone else.
But they can run off into
Weeds.
the field, yeah.
Go off into the weeds.
Right, somebody might come in with a power of attorney for somebody else, you know. Then we have to look at the authenticity of that or something, but as far as a banker or an attorney representing somebody, is not gonna do that much of a problem as the interposed person. But as long as he brings proof that he's acting on the authority of the other person, won't be no problem.
625 talks about proximity to churches, schools, etc.
Let's go back to 21, because we skipped
Okay.
that one. Talking about the certification of the police department.
What number?
21,
Hmm?
621. Because it said, you know, it's the information being verified or required by the city clerk or chief of police. So the police department is going to take care of
The
background checks and all of that.
On the ABO card,
Okay.
on the ABO card.
Now, this says permit here, be licensed.
This is permit.
The
police department is doing the background check for the alcohol licenses for the restaurant. The police
Yeah.
department is doing the fingerprinting of the owner, so to speak. Everything is done downstairs in the PD department.
So they have to look at.
CJ does that.
And like was mentioned before, the applicant is going through the state first before he comes to us. It doesn't mean that the PD is not doing the background check.
Like, they don't look at speeding tickets.
Yeah.
And
This
then not
right
gonna
here,
be
this
able to
is
get
not
out
for
there
the
to stay.
ABO, this is for the permit for businesses.
Well, but they also
They
go
do the
down
same
there
thing for
yeah,
ABO cards.
They do the same, and we'll get to that
Under
sometime.
another section.
Yeah. Okay. So back to 625, proximity to churches.
Number C.
When prohibited by municipal or parish ordinance, no permit shall be granted for any premises situated within 300 feet or less.
No. So why do you have that? We're not gonna let them be that
It's-
close.
it's
No,
got-
no, it
it's-
says or less, they
It's-
can't.
It's gotta be,
No,
can't-
no less than.
no less than 300 feet. By ordinance, of a public playground, of a building used exclusively as a church or synagogue, public library, school, full-time daycare center as defined in revised statute, got the number, or correctional facility housing inmates including but not limiting to halfway houses in municipalities and unincorporated areas such as
What is it?
Yes, sir.
I've already asked Mr. Cooley. What if the church is not occupable?
There's
It's
not
just a
church.
building.
It's just a building.
If it's just a
In my
building, it's
world.
just a
I mean,
vacant,
it's a church, but nobody's in it, so that we consider that just a building.
like,
Well,
do you
why-
have an example?
Do you have an idea
They
why it's not
just church
open?
right, or the church on Gum Street for
Yeah,
one.
church in my district.
I don't think it's anybody there.
Who owns it?
I have no idea.
No, it ain't been operable for some years now.
Where is it located on?
Between,
Is
Like
that
the
Moore Street,
intersection
between
right
Moore
there?
Street and Martin Luther King.
Between Martin Luther
Well,
King and Moore.
Gum Street tops out at the,
Between Martin Luther King and Moore Street on Gum Street in my district.
Okay, is there a place to put a liquor store there?
Not, yeah,
Well,
before you get to
could,
Fairview,
within
behind the
300
shop.
feet.
is it residential? Well, the top of Gum Street's
It's in-
commercial,
it's an empty
that's for.
building.
Yeah, not, it's not, it's
Corner
not
of,
residential.
Right there in the corner of
Is this
Martin Luther King.
no place where they
Will
go?
be,
We
neighborhood
can
commercial
put it
area.
with it.
Well, oh, listen,
You can-
wait, I got an answer. It says where people meet, if it's an empty structure and they're not meeting there as a church, I would say it's just an empty building. I mean, you gotta meet there, you know, like, if.
So is this property line to property line or property line to the beginning of the building?
It's property line to premises.
I just think
I
it
think
should
it should be property line,
or put more footage on there.
Well, that's the state law, we can't add or
State
subtract
law.
footage.
It says you more than 500 feet.
That's in rural unincorporated areas, it says rural, we're not rural, we're a municipality. So rural, you can do 500, but a municipality's 300. We have researched that to see, you know. Mr. Minfield?
And we have decided the methodology that we're gonna use in determining what is 300 or less.
Don't we only have two choices?
Right, we only have one.
And we talked about that last time and everybody kinda agreed to the, as the crow flies. Because
Well, Mr. Minfield and I and Wanda, we have measured just about everything you can think of to measure in town, and it doesn't really matter if you walk it, or if you go from, if you walk it you know, you go this way to the door. If you
We're not
take,
talking about how you measure it, we're talking about the footage, we're not talking about like.
Oh.
No, we're.
We're not talking about in a
Yeah.
direct angle or through the
State-
sidewalk.
state law is
Actually talking
300
about that
feet.
too.
Oh.
Mm.
That's,
300 feet is not available, right?
Mm-mm.
I mean, it's 300
Now,
municipality,
once you get
5,000
outside
rural.
of the city limits in places like that.
So
You,
it,
you,
but it, so
you
it's,
talking, do you realize how much space you giving up?
that's 100 yards, 300 feet is 100 yards.
Right.
What I'm saying is it
That's a
from,
lot of
is
space.
it property line to property line or property line to the building, that's what we're trying to see.
Depends on which one you go.
no, they're all to the premises. You only have two
I read that
options.
it was property line to property line.
You don't
but
have
they
that.
don't have.
It's right
Don't have
here,
that
isn't
option.
it here?
Our old
How
one
much you have
said
to
property
pay?
line to property line, but the new, the state law only gives you those two options.
The distance shall be measured in a straight line from the nearest point of the property line of the church or synagogue, public place, library, school, la. Cause it's for all of that, okay?
To the nearest point of the premises to be licensed.
Right, it is point. I named all those things because the same footage is used as far as the school is concerned. And once you start tinkering around with that, you start tinkering around with the distance between the little place and the school.
We're not taking,
Widening
we're
that
not
out.
taking away from it, we're not trying to go under 300 feet, we're trying to see if you can go over 300 feet.
I know, you trying to get. You can't do that,
That's state law, right?
it's a
Yeah,
state
it's
law.
state law.
I mean, you
It's
can't,
right here, revised statute 281.
you can't change it.
What, 281, what?
Wait a
Can-
second, it's, 26, 281.
26 to it.
What,
And it's, letter C.
What would be the purpose of widening it, Mr. Taylor? Making it more?
26 281.
No, 26, 281 C.
See.
I'm still,
Mr. Taylor didn't,
if you tell somebody to evacuate the premises, are you only concerned about them leaving the building?
Are you talking to me?
And I'm talking to the police.
Me?
No.
It depends on the situation, every situation is different, but if say the store owner or the one that's in charge of that store, bar, restaurant, whatever, calls and says, hey, we have a problem with so-and-so, can y'all come make them leave the premises? They have to leave the entire premises,
Parking lot and all.
yes.
Right.
So that's not just the building, so why would it be different from this, for this? So it ought to be property line,
Premises
property
should
line.
be-
Chris,
yeah, I
because
think-
this premises would be the,
Premises should be the entire,
I mean, I couldn't go up here to
There's the premises.
Abacu's and say, you need to leave the building, and then walk outside the door and stand right at the door.
Subject to the adoption of an alternate method of.
Aren't we talking about two different ordinances, though?
now we're talking
I
about.
think what they're referring to is premise means the parking lot also.
yeah.
Yeah,
Listen,
and not the
Premises.
building.
Not in here.
If you're,
here's what it
if you're on
says,
the school campus,
Listen,
then
to
they
stay
say
on, the
premises.
stay on the state law that,
if you listen for a
from getting
second,
other thing.
you know, in our definitions that you can refer back to, premises, premises to be licensed, meaning the building or that part of the building as defined in the application for the permit in which the beverages of low alcoholic content are sold, except in cases where such beverages are regularly sold or served outside the building. The term shall include such outside areas.
Right, when you're talking about permits, I've read that law, when you're talking about permits, and it says premises, they're talking about the building. According to actually what Mr. Minnifield also they're talking about the building, but when you're talking about somebody loitering or needing them to leave, that's a totally different deal.
I'm trying to
And the
figure
nearest point of it.
out, are we on this page?
Yeah, the nearest point of the premises, that's
We're
basically
talking
not
about
digging,
Yeah,
reading it,
yeah.
reading
Yeah.
it down.
Yeah.
Not gonna read it down.
Yeah.
So you can see
In
it.
that case, I would
I think
measure
what they
it
do,
to the
they try
nearest
to
corner of the
Both
building.
people the
You see
benefit of
point.
the doubt, like
Yeah.
the church, giving them the
Right.
benefit
Or the
of the
nearest
doubt by using the
wall
wall line.
is a
And
parking
then
lot
the
or-
owner of the building, who's in the premises, we're giving them the benefit of the doubt by using the building instead of the parking lot.
The
I think
license is not
the state's
issued
trying to
for-
satisfy both
What-
people.
That's not part of the premises.
The parking lot isn't, that's what he's saying, the parking lot is not part of the premises,
Yeah.
it's the building itself.
Right.
Well, I
So
mean, you
what
know,
about those that
it's
sell
like,
alcohol outdoor in the courtyard? So that's not, is that the premises?
Then
or-
you would have to establish a premises.
Well, if you're talking about the distance, is from the property line of the sacred area, like the school, the church, and it goes all the way up to the building, which includes going through the parking lot. So it's there. In other words, you start at the ground of the church property and go all the way to the building, which means you are taking up the whole front of that building. Whether it's a parking lot or not,
The nearest point of the
Yeah.
building.
nearest point of the building.
not the canopy, but the building.
Where the alcohol's actually being sold from.
Right.
Mr. Benefit asked Ms. Taylor a question that I was curious about, he never gave no answer. Why do you want to increase? That was Mr. Benefit asked me, and no response.
Well, I just feel like certain areas in my district should not have alcohol. I mean, we already have a loitering problem, and I feel like those certain areas shouldn't have it, and that's just my personal opinion about it.
I understand what you're saying, but I mean, we have to,
I
we
mean,
have
for
to
the
make the
benefit
law
of my
in
community,
accordance with the
I feel as
entire
though
municipality,
it's
not just your street.
If you sell water, if they are calls, we'll be glad to come and move.
Is that okay with you? You got
Yeah,
an answer?
I know, 'cause I live over there, I know what you're saying. But-
Okay.
But I understand and respect what you're saying, you know.
So we're gonna put this in here somewhere about if a church is not a church, is that gonna be included in it?
If the church is empty, they don't gather, so
Okay.
it's not,
I mean, it doesn't have to be in here?
I wouldn't think so, because it says where they gather.
You know,
Okay,
I
they may
know-
come back and open church later.
Well,
That's what they are.
then when they
That's what I
come,
was gonna say.
Yeah.
then when they come back, the,
Subject to the regulations. However, if there's been an alcohol permit issued to a business next door before they start back up, you
Still
can't
okay.
shut that business down, it's grandfathered.
it's grandfathered. Now, if they sell, somebody comes and buys the business and they sell it, they will not be issued an alcohol permit.
Because they have to reapply
Because they
under
have,
the new owner.
because they have to reapply, or if the owner's there, if their permit's ever revoked because they don't pay their permit fee on time or something like that, then they can't get it again.
So let's go back to this 300 feet property line, because in our old charter, it does say 300 feet property line to property line.
Yeah,
So why do we have to get rid of that?
well,
Because we're,
this one's replacing the
State
old
law.
one.
State,
This-
state law.
The state law, the state law was probably different back then.
Okay.
And to answer that question, we already crossed that bridge and Mr. Menfield had me measure it correctly by the state law, regardless of what our ordinance said, because it was following the state law.
Okay. If your church has a daycare center,
That's a different story.
a life center, parson, do we measure from that?
That property, yeah, like the parson is just for the church, is that considered the church property?
Okay,
Still
if,
part of the church.
I'm gonna take, if your church is not meeting, but you have a daycare attached to the church, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I'm saying it could be a daycare,
Well, if-
it could be a life center.
If the daycare is attached to the church, they're probably gonna go in that church, the daycare is gonna walk through there, aren't they?
Full-time daycare center is listed here.
listed, you can't do that with a daycare
Well,
but-
already.
But what Mr. Bradford's asking, the daycare let's take Saint Rest for example. Okay,
Actually, when
Saint
he's
Rest,
asking is just the church property, not just
Yeah, the life
place-
center there.
Yeah, like the life center,
Or
not
a
the church, the
parsonage.
building.
okay, now the Life Center, you've gotta measure from the Life Center property
So,
line,
that was
because,
his
because they
question.
gather there.
Okay,
Because
so
it
that
is
was
part of the
the
church.
But because it is part of the church,
And
so.
they gather,
The
and they gather.
gathering is-
And they gather there for
Now-
different services.
Now, the parsonage, and the preacher just lives in the house, that's not the church gathering there.
It's church
Right.
property,
But it doesn't matter, they don't gather there.
they might.
They
They might.
I just,
They
Late at
might.
night,
So-
Depends on whether he's cooking or not.
I mean, you know,
No,
they
no.
live there,
I
it's church property.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just telling you what the state law says.
You're
They
right,
could go,
Steve.
yeah.
Churches
They
and all
probably
the
have-
expenditures and
They probably
things
have
around the
cremations
church,
at the
if they are
parsonage.
used by the church, that's the church property.
That's
Well,
right.
the thing about it is, it doesn't matter, because you're right in the center there. With, you got Saint Rest, you got,
It's
you
not
got,
just
you got,
Saint Rest,
you got
though.
Mr. Bradford's building, you got daycare attached to the church, you got the church, you got the parsonage, and you got the Family Life Center. Either way you twist it,
But it's not just
nobody's-
them though, you got the church right here on, what's this, the Fincher Road. And by
The Catholic church?
And then their parsonage, and then you have
The Catholic church in Catholic Bishop is beside them probably, but they might.
The CVS probably too close.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you know, the other thing that you have to look at.
I don't know
I
if
don't
CVS
know.
is in
It's,
a
I
I
center.
don't know.
Whether or not you're in a business district or whether or not you're in a residential district. But he got to first pass that hurdle about being in, whether he's in a business district, gonna put up something in the business district or resident, he might not even qualify to put up a, you know, and most churches are in residential districts. So you can't even start those churches.
They're not.
You got a church in every district.
Yeah.
That
They're not mostly,
That is right.
residential.
A church can build in a residential district.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Church can build in any district,
I
they
can't
just
say,
have to have permission of
how
the
many
council.
churches around here?
300.
Are you talking about within the city limits of Minden now?
531 is,
You got a lot of
531 of
churches
Living Word is
outside
not in
the city limits?
in a residential
No,
district.
On the hill and Living Word.
Living Word, City of Hill, neither one of them in residential
What
districts.
about it?
Those are
We're saying they
commercial.
are located in the commercial area, not just in residential areas.
I said, okay, I thought I said most of the churches. I'm sure I just, that's what I said.
Well, church,
Residential.
my church would be my house if I start.
Now, the one that's already in
My house.
the business district,
If I
they're
get 10
grandfathered
people,
in.
come and give me a donation.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next page.
Hold on. I asked, Mr. Cooley about parking spaces. For instance, if you got a club, is that gonna still be like it would with a restaurant? They have to have so many parking spots for the, square footage of the building?
Yep. Depending on the occupancy of the building and the square footage of the building, it determines how many parking spaces you have to have. They'll fall under the same rules and regulations as any other business.
Is restaurant?
That's in the state law?
No, that's actually in our.
Cause I didn't see that anywhere, I looked for it.
It's not in,
if
it's not in here, it's in the building codes and the zoning ordinances.
Y'all have mentioned one thing, what about, you mentioned about halfway houses, what about that?
We mentioned that, yeah. Did that answer your question?
That's good.
Okay,
Where that becomes a problem is whenever when they're converting an old building that's not a business or an assembly type business to assembly type business, and then we have to address how to make them add parking. They don't have parking. Of course, like for downtown, the parking requirements are waived. The building downtown. So that they fall under the same rules and regulations as all restaurants and places of the same way.
okay, 626, these permit fees, these are all state regulated as far as what you can and can't charge as far as, permit fees. Does anybody have any
Right.
questions about those?
And we decided that grocery stores, which one of these would they have to have?
Packets? Oh,
Would be the only difference
Low
between
content off premises.
high end.
Well, look,
Convenience stores?
well, no, Walmart,
Oh, grocery
like
stores, yeah.
Walmart and Walgreens and places, and
So just
Butchers.
Class B high alcohol content,
$500.
that's all we would need. The Class C doesn't kick in until you offering the frozen drink machines
Yeah.
and such.
Class C is gonna be like,
Daiquiri Express.
Daiquiri Express,
Mike's.
Mike's Hometown Spirits, that type of thing. That's where that's gonna kick in. Fees will be prorated.
Prorated? No, thought we wanted to do proration.
Fees will be prorated, well, we got fees we prorated as follows. And that's what we're here to talk about. If the license is valid for 6 months or less, the permit fee will be reduced by 50%.
Mr. Fleur brought up a good point on that one. People that come in late in the year, they'll just wait until January and miss that opportunity.
Well, you gotta do some math today.
Well, like if somebody comes in October and they're gonna renew in December, you're gonna charge them $500, and we wanna be business friendly to get businesses to come to Minden.
Well, I was the one who said we need to
When is the
prorate it,
license
everybody else said no.
No, I was the only one who said not to.
No.
Everybody else said
That's
prorate.
less than 6 months.
Did we make a decision on
Prorated by
when we were
50%.
gonna,
If it's more than 6
are we gonna use the fiscal year, or are we gonna use January first for
January first.
January.
January?
So then December 31st.
Occupational licenses run January to
January.
December.
So if I came in April, I get it prorated 50%?
No,
6 months or.
6 months.
6 months.
July, you would.
The
Valid for
surrounding-
6 months or less, the permit fee will be reduced by 50%.
The surrounding areas were all doing January to December.
I thought that most of the surrounding areas were waiting on us.
No, Ruston, Shreveport, Bossier,
Not the
Natchitoches.
close ones,
Oh,
the far
The far areas, okay.
Is everybody on 6/27, the issuance and signing, that's, basically giving them the permit and signing off on it. And then, sir?
Oh, no, I was just thinking about the,
And then the display talks about where they've gotta keep it posted in a public place and can be read by the public. Got that revised statute in there. 6/28 personal nature of permits, necessities, and display penalties, transferability and inheritability. That talks about transferring, your license to somebody else, which you can't do. It talks about if a husband and wife has a license and one die, how long you have time to reissue it and all that type. Talks about bankruptcy.
Last time we talked about no lottery signs, is that included in here and everything?
That's in an ordinance where, isn't that an ordinance where a business has to,
You said that they had to display it outside or somewhere.
Yes, we have ours up already, the signs.
your ordinance, do you have lottery signs up and everything?
No, we don't have loitering signs up, we've never had to have them up.
well,
But sometimes we do put up.
that's
like
one of the
a-
ordinances, that's one of the ordinances we wanted to put in there, to have the no loitering signs put up. And if the store owner doesn't put it up, that's a $500 fine. That's what we had discussed at the last meeting. I think those signs need to be posted at any location selling alcohol.
So we're gonna require the
Oh, we said
business to put them up?
Convenience store, yeah, convenience stores.
Cause we didn't want to
Convenience
make
stores, yeah, convenience
McDonald's.
stores, yeah.
I don't think the city needs to get into the sign business.
I believe that's what we talked about last meeting.
We did.
Yes.
We did.
Yeah, we talked about that last meeting as far as, having them signs posted and being visible, so that when the police come to enforce, it's already there, but if the store owner doesn't have it, you penalize them. the city already, I mean, it's already a law against loitering, so they'll deal with the loiterers. As far as the businesses, I feel like they should have some signs posted.
So are we talking about just convenience stores or restaurants, everything?
No, convenience stores, the restaurants, you know, right outside the restaurant property, out the front door, you still on restaurant property.
Yeah.
You can still have a drink there. I'm talking about like the convenience stores. I don't want nobody to buy a drink and then sit on the side of the building and just, yeah, I'm gonna finish this one and go back here and give me another one.
I believe the police department's gonna tell us that ain't gonna be a problem.
Not if I'm working anything.
What about when you go home to sleep?
Call me, I'll send
So they
somebody.
sell it.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem, will it?
Like I said, I supervise 28 stores and 21 of them sell alcohol, and I don't have anyone that sits outside and drinks. We don't allow it. I mean, it's packaged and it's a law that you package it and they leave.
It'll stop your employees from having to go out there and deal with somebody too as well. They don't wanna deal with them,
Whether there's a sign on that door or not,
I
it's
mean,
not
but
gonna make.
it doesn't make a difference, but it also is just, basically, you don't get that, I didn't know.
So
There'll be no
you're just
orders.
going to fine all convenience stores
If
if
they don't
have a
post the
sign?
sign, if they don't have the sign posted.
Can the city tell the
Is that
store
legal?
what to do?
I'm just
I
curious.
mean, if they wanna get a permit in our city, then it's legal, if that's required to get the permit.
Because I think we have the state on our side with this. I'm not saying I
But
don't want a
if that's
sign,
the
I'm
city
just.
ordinance,
If there's a city, yeah, there's a city ordinance.
I mean, there's a lot of sign ordinances too, that you can't have signs. I mean, I don't know about Minden, but in other places, they're discouraged actually, signs in general, but, I just didn't know if it was legal or not.
I just know in my district, I'm gonna have a whole lot of liquor, people selling liquor and stuff like that, and I don't need a bunch of loitering.
I mean, I don't have a problem putting up a sign, I was just saying you're gonna fine me $500.
I mean, if they don't have the sign, it's either $30 sign or a $500 fine.
Mr. Taylor, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
I mean, living in your area.
Yeah.
All that, Ms. Walker is laughing, Ms. Walker don't say about area, but I can always educate. I understand this one. They put all the halfway houses in your neighborhood.
What halfway houses do
No,
we have?
I ain't gonna call no name, I know.
We don't even have any halfway
Well,
houses.
maybe I shut them all down, thank God for that. But what I'm saying, we always have problems, you can't have alcohol around halfway houses, and shit. Well, we have a big problem in your area, cause I live there. It's gonna always be a problem, but basically, a liquor store can go anywhere.
What are you talking about then?
What I'm saying, a liquor store can go anywhere, but what I wanna know from you, where you want them at? Do you want it in your neighborhood, in your district? That's what I'm saying. Do you want it?
I voted for alcohol to come into town, so what are you saying?
So
I was part of the push the whole thing. I'm not saying, I mean, what are you saying?
I'm saying that what you designate certain areas in our neighborhood.
I'm not designating no areas, it's just saying no loitering. You want people to hang outside your house drinking?
Well, they do it all the time,
Okay, then, well.
they throw the cans all over in my yard and everything.
Well, the property owner, that's their responsibility to stop that, the property owner. Yeah.
Big cans in my yard, I don't even think it's, thank you.
There's not even any place to sell aluminum in town anymore. Okay,
It's preventative because, you know, not only in his district, in mine too, but the halfway houses, the shelters, they're actually in my district,
Yeah.
not in, A. But it's just preventative because, I mean, we see the writing on the wall with what's going on at the different places now. So, you know,
Well, there's
we
halfway
don't want it
houses
to
in D.
be,
there's halfway houses in D.
Oh, I don't know, but
Yeah.
we're talking like the stores, some of the stores that he's mentioning. It's an issue now, and nothing is being done about it.
And I understand your pain, because I pass through other towns and see it as well, but a lot of that is the police's fault, I'll say that. And a lot of it is proprietors of the store's fault,
Yeah.
because they allow it.
Yeah.
So, working hand in hand, people in the community, they'll call and say, hey, there's people standing out in front of our store, will you make them leave? You don't even have to leave
You
your
know,
name, we'll
I
be
mean,
glad.
but if it's a no loitering sign there, then.
Right, and
hey.
that's been a defense for some of the people that we have arrested before, when they go to court, they go, I bought my beer here or whatever, and there's no sign.
What does the judge do though?
Yeah, I mean, I feel your pain, and I know exactly what you're speaking
Yeah.
of, whenever you have people sitting around outside.
I'm glad you know what we're saying.
Cause,
Yeah, I know
it's-
exactly what you're
yeah,
saying.
it's, I mean, it's bad now,
And I agree with
I
you
see
all
them
on that.
selling alcohol.
Yeah.
So it's only going to be worse.
Right, I understand, and I signed y'all on.
And if there's nothing out there, then.
Encourage the property owner to help them.
Right.
Mr. Miller.
Cause that's when. he's-
Okay, Mr. Menfield, will you check on that and see if that's posted in the sign? Okay, the 6/29, the expiration, they all expire on December 31st of each year. The renewal permits are due January the 1st. They're delinquent at March the 1st. So after they're delinquent, if you go down to 6/31, it's a 25% fee
Plus 6% interest.
plus 6% interest.
What's
yes.
that number, 629?
6/30,
31.
Oh, 6.
and then we just rolled on down to delinquency and describe the penalty and,
That's the state, the 25% in those dates.
yes, ma'am.
And you want this to be part of this?
That, so,
Okay.
Okay, then we
We have to figure out something.
651 talks about acts of prohibited on premises, suspension, or revocation of permit. And it's long. It's like, if you can get your license suspended if you sell alcohol to an intoxicated person.
You, what now, if you sell to an intoxicated
You
person?
can lose your license.
I don't believe it.
It's a state law. I mean,
I
wait.
don't believe it.
Yeah, but does it happen though?
No.
Oh, here it is, right here.
Intoxicated
Under
person.
B, look at
We
the
got
one.
it. Oh.
The intoxicated person's
It
not gonna
is.
go tell them.
Sell or serve
When it comes
beverages,
to not
alcoholic
smoking, Bob.
beverages to any intoxicated person that can lose their license. You see it?
That is definitely not enforced.
Well, I'm
I'm
telling
gonna
you.
highlight it, but it's not enforced.
Oh, man.
Prostitutes can't visit.
Whoa, where
Can't
you,
visit.
hold on, where you at?
Number 3.
oh, you don't wanna go through all of this.
See,
As long as you kind
I'm gonna be
of.
embarrassed.
That's called lighter.
I'm gonna be embarrassed.
That's definitely not enforced right here, number 3. That's the hangout.
I don't know about that.
You go to some of the stores and, yeah,
But they have front lottery?
3. Yeah, that part of
You go ahead
that's
and read
lottery.
it, I don't have it, I don't know what you're talking about. Read it out loud.
Permit any prostitute to frequent the licensed premise or solicit patrons for prostitution on the licensed premise.
That's when they get them, when they intoxicated, make them.
You gonna go out of business. if you
And,
start that.
and you
Yeah.
can't, and you can't employ any bee drinkers.
Yeah.
You can lose your license over that.
What is that?
A bee drinker, that's number
That's when the
6,
stripper
employee
said,
from a
"Hey, baby,
person
you wanna buy
commonly
me a
known as bee
drink?"
drinker to solicit patrons for drinks and set drinks to patrons to receive commissions. That's to ramp up their bar drinking.
I hate to get into this, but I guess the next time you do this, you gonna number the pages.
You have that messed up again.
No. It's like,
That's like if I go buy alcohol for somebody else and give it to somebody else because they don't have their ID or, like, I'm buying it, give me a
Yeah.
Okay, okay. 651.
no, a bee girl, like a,
No, it's like in a strip club,
Yeah,
whenever
she'll
the
come
girl
say,
comes
hey, why don't you
in,
buy me a drink?
buy me a drink, but
That's
then
what
the
a
house,
big girl is.
the house gets a
Hey,
portion
the
of the
house-
money.
The house gets the money, for real, she's not really
I've
drinking.
been around the block.
Every time.
These gray hairs didn't just show up. I earned some of them.
They run and try them to the
We're on
prostitution.
live.
parallel.
Oh, my wife ain't what.
Like in New Orleans when.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah, when they get
exactly.
the shots and stuff.
You'd be proud I didn't know.
You can lose your license for selling alcohol and food. You know what? Is there such thing as a food stamp coupon anymore?
Yes, well,
I mean,
what's that card?
I mean,
But that's what, that we were using for terminology.
What- What
EBT
number is
card.
that?
This
I'm
is
on
state
12.
law, this is on
Yeah.
state law.
12.
Because in the old ordinance, it had the SNAP cards,
Yes.
but those aren't used
Yeah,
anymore, so
okay.
this is the terminology
EBT card.
from the state.
Okay.
You can't use your EBT card and buy no liquor. Nobody. I'm not saying you got one.
I need you one.
Man, you tell them. You ain't got the books no more.
I remember those books when they used to come in the
You don't
convenience
know
store.
about the
and-
stamp book.
Yeah.
State
I'm
law.
sorry.
That's why it's like coupons, why they didn't say card?
Now, y'all, I'm
Well,
about.
maybe they can't say card because
Maybe so.
they have cash and stamps on it. Some of them
Probably.
have money and stamps, so that's why they can't say
I'm
card.
not gonna,
Yeah.
from 17 down, I'm not gonna read that. Y'all can study that yourself. And yeah,
All
and
you can drink.
I'm only gonna pick up back at 6:52, but I'm gonna give y'all a chance to read that, that in there. Oh, you
So
can
you
read it if
can't
you
do
want.
that? Really? I didn't know that. Sell or serve any alcoholic beverages at price fixed on an all-you-can-drink basis. I didn't know you could do that.
State.
That you could
Supposed to be state law.
That, New Orleans must be an exception.
There are some exceptions, but that's what it said for the state law. They used to, I remember they used to sell pictures of beer, you know, they used, you pay
But
so
like,
much.
you know, even there, you could get like a little wristband and just go
Mhm.
back and that was within that.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, this year, they sell pictures of beer though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you sell a picture of beer, you sell pictures of beer.
Pictures, yeah, that's
That's
a
not-
designated quantity for a designated price. That's not-
$1 or something, yeah.
You get a bucket.
That was interesting. They must be an exception. Some of these are an exception from New Orleans, I
Five
believe.
gold and a lemon. It's the mentality. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. Yeah, they usually do those up pretty nice.
So, is everybody ready to go to 6:52? Additional causes for suspension of your permit. It's like number 6, you can, if without a proper license, a retailer allows any persons to consume any alcoholic beverage on the license permits or parking lot open or closed space within the license, you can, you lose your license for that. That's kind of, that falls back to that watering thing.
They allow them to drink outside the building, they can lose their license.
653 is the authority to grant, refuse, suspend, or revoke alcoholic beverages permits. The first offense is 500, the second offense is 750, the third offense is 1,000. If it occurred within a 3-year time period.
I have a question, I
Okay.
just came to this one up. So, I guess this 51 number 3? No, well, how do you, this is 3 under 17D.
That's 3 under 17.
Yeah, it's
Okay, 17,
At
number
the top of the
3.
page.
So that means no strip clubs, right?
Oh, hey, that ain't right.
Yeah,
It
that's,
says-
that's,
If you
yeah,
sell
they can't sell alcohol there.
Where we at, what number?
Yeah, you might wanna read that one.
We don't have it.
It's on page, it's 652, the very top,
that means no nudity.
the very top.
No,
No, we're under 653, authority to grant, refuse, suspend, or
No,
invoke.
no, no.
Wrong,
At the
number
very
three.
Top of the page.
At the top of the page,
page.
number 3.
Top of that page. You don't wanna read it.
Man.
As long as you don't do.
Well, then.
As long as you don't do that, you're.
Yeah.
As long as, if you don't do it,
They got, in this state law, they got them in the state now somehow.
Well,
it says you can lose your license if you do that.
well, if it's a strip club, they gonna do all of that.
They're not supposed to.
No. So I'm just trying to, that's my understanding for this.
We're in bathing suit, none of that happened.
Is this state law?
This state,
This all comes from
This
the
is,
state.
this is state law. Mr. Minifield read it and gave it to us.
Well,
They gotta do something about that.
26
I mean,
Well, it says
That's how
live
I'm reading it.
entertainment, yeah, live entertainment shall be permitted, except you can't do that.
now, I don't know who's gonna monitor that.
What did you get right?
Oh, wow, the city council to go check that out.
Yeah, go check it out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things probably on the.
And good Lord, bless you, she's.
Policeman blood. Hey, you didn't know anything about those places a while ago?
yeah, they have
There
different
are
laws.
laws, and it says so in some place in here.
So that, you need to know.
You can't be opening them doors.
Okay.
I'm gonna highlight that one for you.
Let's keep moving, guys.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they got.
Let's go down here to the ABO card, section 671.
671?
To the ABO card, required application. It shall be unlawful for any alcoholic beverage permit holder to allow any employee to handle, sell, or serve alcoholic beverages of high or low content for consumption on the premises of any restaurant unless such employee is in possession of an alcohol operator card, ABO. Before employing a person to handle, sell alcoholic beverages, the permit holder shall notify the city clerk of the intent. They'll go downstairs, they'll get all that stuff done. Now that's to serve it, the ABO card
In restaurants.
in restaurants. It shall be unlawful for any person to handle, sell alcoholic beverages for consumption premises of any restaurant for which a permit is required for this chapter unless the such employee is in his or her possession the ABO card. And we know what possession means.
And there was also a clause in there somewhere where the operator of the business can actually keep copies of everybody's current ABO cards and have them on file in
Yeah.
case they didn't have it in their pocket.
Yeah.
I read
That's
that.
in
somewhere.
C,
It's in
671C.
Has the card on file, it shall not be considered a violation of the section of the employer.
Right.
And then we go to 672, which is qualifications of the applicant. They must be in good character, reputation, 18 years of age or older. The person has been convicted of a felony under the law of the United States, the state of Louisiana, or any other country. They will not be eligible until the expiration of the sentence, including probation and parole. They're not being convicted in the last 2 years of any other state for soliciting or selling things, doing other things.
Why you didn't say it?
Such forth, well, you can only imagine. Y'all can read. I'm on 3.
So
citywide.
Okay.
It's
There is a provision for
Correct.
a site specific,
Yeah.
but the general ABO card would be good for anywhere inside the city limits.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's good for,
I think I saw something different, but I look at it.
2 years,
Yeah,
I
know,
think.
it's the question.
Yeah, it does say 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. And you're gonna have 673 issuance or denial. It's your city clerk's authorized to issue the ABO card. If they're not, if the applicant, is disapproved, the applicant, the decision of the city clerk within 10 days, render the city council, then go to the city council for question, y'all's decision will be final. And they can reapply after 6 months, like if they have a sentence that, you know, that hadn't quite expired or something. And then we talk about the fees of an ABO card, it's for 2 years, it's $25. If the card's denied, the fee is not refunded.
You know, whenever we have a meeting, we're gonna be here more than 2 hours, we need break.
Okay.
I'm not saying,
Mhm.
I can't function.
676 is where it clears out, it says,
No, no candy, I'm not eating
That's
candy,
some
I'm
peanut
out
butter.
candy right now.
unless otherwise provided by the city clerk or the city council, a card for an alcoholic beverage operator, an ABO card, employee shall be good and valid for the use on the premises of any alcoholic beverage permit holder
What number
located
you reading?
within the city of Minden.
76 on the
That's where it
side.
says it's good anywhere in the
676,
city.
that's where it says it's good anywhere.
What number did you read that one?
676.
Okay.
Provided that the permit holder is notified the police department and yada, yada, yada.
So they're actually supposed to let the police department know when they've been terminated.
When they've been terminated, yeah, that's in there.
How often does that happen? No.
Y'all don't keep a record of active ABO cards?
I don't work in front office, but I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I ain't think so.
Authority to suspend or revoke alcoholic beverage permits and cards, 691. And then 692, hearing and notice appeals process of permits suspended, revoked, or denied. It's still talking about ABO cards.
You know, permits should probably say ABO card right there.
Wait, something I had to think about. Okay, what about places where there's gambling, as far as the time for alcohol? You know, like Love's has a, casino in there.
Well, if they serve alcoholic, do they serve it?
Well, they might.
Well, I mean, if they do, they would have to have a ABO card.
No, you're talking about the hours, because
Hours.
it never closes.
Wouldn't
It's
that
a
fall,
casino.
wouldn't that be the same thing, fall under bar?
Bar.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
fall under bar.
Probably.
I mean, if they, yeah, that'd be bar.
Yeah, I would think so. You're gonna have that same license, non-premise.
We never addressed that one.
But it's
Like-
gaming.
You know, that was in here,
But it's gaming.
Yeah, but it's got a bar in it, it's like a club.
Nah, the gaming is different.
I think this should be 674 instead of 574.
I did ask Timberland that, in
What's that?
Spring Hill,
Uh-huh.
they quit
And
serving at midnight,
692.
but they still game all night, and
674,
they
not
start back at 6.
574. We don't have 5. All of ours is chapter 6.
So they would stop selling their adult beverages.
674 is about the
Just like a
card.
bar.
Yeah.
But that's not the time we have the bars, we have 2 o'clock.
But also, I think Spring was selling at
They
midnight,
quit
all over the
everywhere
whole
at
city,
midnight.
so.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's gonna be
different.
2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
it
what-
would be two.
Pam said there was something in the state law for gaming,
Gaming.
because the casinos serve it all night long.
What's that extra copy?
They don't even
I
stop.
wanna follow along. Now that we're on the
They
street.
do that in Bossier, correct,
Yeah.
but the, like Circle K, and I think they stopped serving, cause they're a convenience store. You know, like, those guys serve 24 hours, and there's also casinos there.
Yeah, so what do? Cause they serve liquor in there.
They serve 24 hours in DCN. And so does casinos, but if you're making your own ordinance, if you say too, that like Spring Hill make their own ordinance, they stop at midnight, but people can still gamble all night long.
I think, to me, that would be considered a bar, gaming bar. I think they ought to stop at 2, just like the bar.
That's where you'll have the 3 o'clock problems if you're gonna let them, you know, they're
Yeah.
worried about the most is.
I was just wondering because that's the only one inside city limits that's county.
Yeah, but we're plugging 2 others shortly.
Yeah, so we need to address that then.
Yeah, cause they gonna come in
So we
as
need
soon
to
as
go
this
ahead and put the
ordinance is
times
passed.
in here, we need, right
need to
here for
address that.
close, wherever the hours.
Or we could put gaming, we
need
could
to have
put
a section
gaming.
for
You
that.
can just add it
Yeah.
behind bars,
Yeah.
bars and casinos.
So what time do we wanna keep on gaming?
Section.
I don't care what they do.
Well, I mean, I don't either, I've never been there.
I mean, I would want to be able to compete with
Yeah.
Dixie N. If that's the case, they should be able to
No.
compete with Dixie N.
Say again,
If that's the case, they should be able to compete with Dixie N.
so does Dixie Inn do 24 hours?
They do.
But, yeah.
Those guys.
You don't, in the gaming part.
Oh, I don't know if.
I'm talking about inside the game and the game
I didn't
area.
know they even sold
Yeah, they sell alcohol in there.
Oh, yeah, they do.
So what hours do y'all wanna do for the?
Let's just shut it down with the bar then.
So let's put under 6.5, closing hours, under B, do restaurant establishments, bars, and gaming
And gaming.
locations, or gaming.
But it might,
Two different owners.
y'all may have a good point though, Mr. Minifield may need to check with the state to make sure
Yeah.
there's not something specific for gaming before y'all.
Well,
Try to put a time restriction on.
whatever the state says, do y'all wanna follow that?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, so whatever the state says, we'll just follow their lead.
Yeah, because I know you actually have to have a alcohol license to be able to get video poker machines in a restaurant.
Okay.
So
But
what
like
you
if
want
the-
is hours for gaming?
Yeah.
Casino, what they sell.
Yeah.
serve 24
Whatever
hours.
the state law is,
So,
we'll follow it.
I'm sure the state law's gonna be 24 hours.
Well, then we'll go 24 hours.
Stop drinking.
Yeah, but then you're gonna have a problem with,
I
this
don't
is just
know.
looking at it from a police standpoint,
What
you're
is
gonna have a
it,
problem
Charles?
with people leaving,
Town.
if we
What's
have
the
a bar,
question
they're gonna leave the
Charles?
bar, and then they're gonna be going into the gaming
What
hall,
does the
and
state
all
law say
congregation,
regarding
they'll all
hours
be
of
in there
gaming,
drinking.
when you have to shut
Do they
down?
do that at Dixie Inn?
Yeah, for gaming,
There's
for
a lot.
gaming
I don't know how
locations.
much the casino hours, I can
Does the state
Can we call
mandate
that?
24-hour operation, or can we establish our own hours of operation
No,
for selling?
alcohol.
We'll check
Selling,
into it.
no,
You tell them when they can
not,
be open.
yeah,
when they
not
can.
operation, but alcohol sales.
That's just not,
Alcohol
Gaming
sales at
location.
gaming?
cause you don't want them hanging
Gaming
around there
locations.
drinking all night,
It could be changed, 'cause
dropping
Spring
one
Hill stops
quarter
at
every
midnight.
hour.
What
And
are
they're
the
gonna-
hours of?
Just going to.
Alcohol
drinks.
sales
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir.
at
Whatever
gaming
that timber line
locations.
Is, they stop at midnight in the casino, and that's in Webster Parish.
And I think what we saw before, we had a definition for gaming, but I don't remember seeing times for that in here. But we weren't looking for it either.
Well, we'll find out in the morning what the gaming says. We'll find out what time that is.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it just came to me like, what about them?
Yeah.
That's a good point though.
693 procedure at hearing for contempt. The city council will administer oaths, issue subpoenas for the attendance of witnesses and production of books, papers, accounts, documents, examine witnesses, and receive testimony at the hearing of suspension, revocation, denial, permits, cards under this chapter. Like if they lose their permit for doing things they shouldn't, they'll have to come before the board.
Under B, where it refers to section 671, is that correct? Shall be punished pursuant to section 671. 671 is just about required application for an ADO card,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
so that's not the right
That's
chapter.
not the
is
right
it?
one.
675, well, that's not it.
So what is it?
If any person fails to comply with the subpoena issued by the city council or a witness who refused to testify in the matter regarding made lawfully such
It looks
failure,
like maybe
refusal.
653, is that the first offense, second offense? Is
Yeah,
that-
it should go back to that then.
Okay, 653.
653 should be
Is it in the
653.
state like this, are you looking through,
Okay,
to see if
well,
it's in there
what
like
does it
that?
say? does it give me a number?
The revised
This
statute
says
on that is,
section
26
671.
286.
286.
26 286, revised statute.
653. On conviction in any court shall be punished pursuant to section
286 is acts prohibited on licensed premises. That's the one that's so long.
Mhm.
Is that where I'm supposed to be finding the penalties?
I think you were right,
It's
it's
653.
Yeah,
Okay.
653?
it's the only one that spelled out any kind of penalties.
Yeah.
But I don't know in here if it tells
Well,
specific fees.
Unless
That's not, yeah.
it's at the very end where it says,
It must be 656 at the end, because we do have penalties, first offense, 500, second offense.
Revocation,
750.
suspension, of offense.
Mhm.
Say 56?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's here it is.
What does it say?
Okay, this is, 292, and it says the first, okay, notwithstanding any other provision of this chapter to the contrary, the commissioner may, in lieu of, or in addition to revoking or suspending permit issued under the authority of this chapter, impose the following fines.
That's 653 in hours.
Okay, well, here it's 292, so yes, that's a state law. 500 for the first offense,
Yes.
Yeah,
1,000 for the second, and 2,500 for the third.
That's not what ours says, ours says third's 1,000.
yeah, ours is 500 first.
750.
This is, okay, the second offense, which occurs within 3 years of the first offense, shall not be less than 250, but not more than 1,000. So yes, we can adjust those.
That's for the second offense?
That's for the second.
What about for the third?
The third is within 3 years of the first offense, not less than 500, but not more than 2,500.
So we have 1,000.
Yeah,
So we just-
we're in compliance.
In the middle there. Okay.
In addition to taking action.
Okay, and we could refer to revised statute what?
It's 6, then 292.
26 292.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we decided that under B in 693, 671 should be 653.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
694, procedure when permit holder application fails to appear at hearings.
Why wouldn't you refer them back to 656 and not 653? 653 is dealing with permits, 656 is dealing with hearings and suspensions.
So,
It should be
Yeah,
referring
it
them
should
to
be 656,
656,
yeah.
not 653.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
656.
No.
Oh, yeah, you've got fines on that one too.
Yeah, it's the same, that's what I was looking at, so it should be referred back to 656, not 653.
656.
Section 656.
Okay, 656 instead of 653.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Oh, got it. Okey-doke.
Okay, 695, basis for determination by city council to suspend, revoke, or to deny permit card.
692.
Does anybody have any questions about that?
I've got that one. And I've got that one.
And it says.
You said
it's-
694?
695, and it says the city council shall immediately notify the card holder, the state authorities, or the chief of police of its action. So if their card is
Yes.
full,
And they can be denied for up to a year.
yeah, up to a year.
I'm doing good on
And then it says that in 696, it says that the city council can, after they suspend, revoke their card, that the city council shall access the cost of the hearing of the applicant or permit holder. it's gonna be hard to collect, but if they ever wanna get another card, they'll have to pay those expenses.
Oh, okay, yeah.
697 says decisions to deny, suspend, or revoke permits or cards final, are final unless appeal or reversed. So y'all have the decision of reversing the decision. Decision of the city council is denying, suspending, or revoking permits are final and binding on all parties unless an appeal in the matter provisions of 620, 24, 74 of the chapter are finally reserved by the courts.
Let's look at those sections and make sure they're the right sections. 620, 624, 674. Where are they, how long?
We are at 697 right now, verifying those numbers.
Okay, let's look at those.
Okay.
620 is administrative issuance. I
Okay.
think that applies.
Okay.
624 is.
Approval or disapproval of
approval or
application.
disapproval, and
73,
673
673 is issuance or denial,
674, what's that?
contents.
Yes.
So 673 is issuance or denial.
Were those right,
Yes.
74 should be 73.
you think?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
74 should be
674 should be 673.
698, appeal of decision to deny, suspend, or revoke permits or cards. The applicant or holder of the alcoholic beverage permit or alcoholic beverage ABO employee card who is a decision by the city council to deny, suspend, or revoke his permit or card may within 10 days of the notification of the decision take a.
What does that word mean?
I don't know.
Devoluted? What does that mean,
Novo?
Charles?
It says that they can go to the district court to kinda override, I don't think,
Devolutive, devolutive, what does it
To
mean?
take an appeal.
Make an
they
appeal.
can appeal.
Devaluative.
Devolutive. Well, I learned a new word today.
That's all that does.
So if they don't like y'all's decision, they can take it to higher ups to get their ABO card back. 106, authority to appoint. The city council in its discretion may serve as the alcohol beverage control board, which that's what y'all are gonna do.
Take us a minute.
And it talks about a member whose term has expired shall continue to serve until his or her successor is appointed in the manner, I'm guessing that's elections,
Yeah,
change
so
that.
if you,
Or
Yeah.
if you dissolve this and create an alcoholic beverage control board, then they serve,
right.
5 members serve for 2-year terms.
Mhm.
You could
It'd be
probably-
nice, if that happened, it'd be nice if they staggered too, so everybody wouldn't be fresh.
You know,
You wanna wait till
you
you
could
know?
appoint the,
I'm just
planning
playing on my
commission
head.
as the
Yeah.
ABC board. You
It'll
already,
give us time
you
to
know,
do
we're working
this.
on getting representation from every district on the planning commission. They can hear the appeals and be kind of a buffer between the city council and what's going on.
Well, we can do that too.
And then, you know, they could always appeal, just like any other
Like
zoning board
zoning.
issue or whatever, it could all be handled just the same. And that would keep the city council from having to handle the details of all that stuff. Unless it's appealed.
We could do it anyway, we don't have to determine. We don't have to make a case on it.
Do that.
Open up the nine,
You left last time.
Is anything?
695.
No, not yet.
My business supposed to be.
We're on
can't do
6106.
Can't do a whole decision, the city council finds that it's violation,
Right.
so we can't,
Well, and some of
we
this,
can't police
some of this,
Judge
rewrote.
and be the execution.
Some of this y'all rewrote the same city council instead of ABC, didn't you?
Yeah, you couldn't deny and then turn around and be the ABC board and listen to your
Right.
denial. Doesn't work.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Judge.
that might be something y'all wanna consider is to let the planning commission be a buffer for y'all.
Be the ABC board.
A, B, C, D, yeah. It's gonna have to be done by somebody other than the council.
And then you would be the appeal.
Right, if we're gonna do it,
Just-
appeal to anything.
Yeah, just like if you do have zoning issues now, it goes to
Yeah.
the planning commission. And then if the if they don't like the decision they get there, then they appeal it to the city council.
You see if there's some cheese crackers or peanut butter crackers.
I've got some nut bars in there.
Yeah, I just wanna stole one of them.
Oh, you got it. I don't eat them, but they're in there.
If you find a steak in there.
So we're gonna-
Okay, well, we're almost done.
So we're gonna decide the board. If it's not the planning board, we decide 5 members to do that. So like I said, we can't beat it.
I mean, the planning
Yeah,
commission.
we have a hard enough time finding
I know
people
it's
for one board.
volunteers we have.
I'm okay with the planning commission, if everybody else is, and then it comes to the
How's that
council.
board comprised of, is it one from each district? in
It's-
it?
they're-
But
It's
it's not
evolving to
yet,
that.
but we're working in, working in that direction.
You get what I'm saying?
Your district, your
The
district,
council-
and your district
the
are
council be the
represented.
best representative
Right,
appeal to.
right,
I
uh-huh.
don't think he
Yeah, I got
does,
Mr. Baker.
or maybe hers is.
No, I've got two, but mine's gonna be rotating off, and we're gonna
Right.
fill in the
D-
void.
D doesn't have anybody
Uh-huh.
right now, but the rest of them do.
One of them dang things in there.
Okay, so if something changes,
Bad, I don't you know.
I,
Is anything changing right now?
y'all want the planning board?
Yeah. You want the planning commission there?
I mean,
I'm not
I'm just saying, if we can't do it, it doesn't.
appeal.
Well, the only other sensible board would be the planning commission. I mean, you don't want the building and grounds to do it.
how do you want it worded if you want it changed?
Which one is that?
106.
Well, it already says there, they have authority to appoint the board.
Right.
To serve
Okay.
as
Now, we cross that bridge when we come to it.
Well, we're at the bridge. I mean, we need to pass the ordinance. We're at the bridge.
So the planning commission shall serve as, is that the way you want it to read?
Not me.
Is that the way you
To be honest, I don't want it to be because they don't want me to help.
So, is that what you want us to do?
But I will do it.
I think it's smarter to use an existing than trying to get a new one, because we're having trouble filling in spots.
Well,
What board do we have represented for each district in it? Oh, the economic, what's that, the consortium or whatever?
Two of the economic development. They've got a commission and a consortium.
yeah,
Yeah, let one of them do it. One of them boards.
I
fine
don't
for me.
care, I don't care.
Man,
want?
I
How
represent
many
each
people are
district.
on that industrial development?
And I
board?
don't
And
know
planning
what,
commission
and I
would
don't know
have
what the split
some
is either.
I don't either.
Oh, either.
Kinda like the planning commission, they know the zoning and everything already.
Why not the, consortium?
They're not gonna have nearly as much information as
You really, it's
I mean,
really.
really, you need to think about two, first of all, who you have on that commission, and what's the chances of them getting a fair appeal? Now, if it's someone that's not in favor of alcohol, then that's not gonna work in their favor. You know, you have to look at the makeup of it and then.
But we do the appeal, don't we?
Planning-
Yeah, but you have to
If you
be
will,
fair.
planning
it,
commission would
it
be
can
the-
get to
because
you.
they're
If
almost,
they all
They will
open,
get the
then-
first appeal.
I mean, come on, you have
That's why you have somebody, you
to be
just.
fair.
Mhm.
I'm done, I'm about to go.
okay, let's slide through the rest of this real quick and then y'all take it home and read it. But we're talking about sections 107, ABCB hearings, dispositions, that's about the ABO part. The minimum wage, we know what the minimum wage is.
Age.
I'm sorry, what'd I say?
The
Well,
way-
see, I'm getting punchy too, I haven't
Yeah.
been either.
Yeah. I know the feeling.
Who is it? Oh, wait, we're on camera, I can't say that. Sign required relative to sale to persons under 21. That's gotta be posted. 122, purchase, consumption, public process of alcohol beverages, persons under 21 years of age. That's what their fine is if they sell it to somebody under age. 6,
So there's no consequences for not having that sign posted.
Good job.
See ya.
123, purchase on behalf of persons under 21. So, yeah, I mean, you can't buy for somebody else.
So what if they don't have a sign displayed about no sales to person under 21?
Well, it looks like it's a $300 fine and or imprisonment.
That's if they sell.
Unlawful, it should be unlawful for any person violation of penalty, whoever violates the provision of this text shall be fined not more than $300 or imprisonment not more than 6 months. Any person apprehended while, is that the right one?
Yeah, you're on the right one, but that's the fine if they sell to someone under
In
21, but
person,
they don't have a
yeah.
sign.
Posting was someplace else.
The posting, yeah, the, what was the
Sign
posting?
required relative to salesperson
Oh,
one
that's,
twenty-one.
yeah, 121, each and every place that establishment alcohol, well, they can lose their license. If there's not a fine, they can just lose their license.
It doesn't say that on here that they can lose.
I know, but that's a violation. Each and every place or establishment where alcohol beverages are sold or dispensed at the retail or otherwise in the city of Minden shall have a sign displayed in a prominent place clearly visible to all, stating that no beverages of high or low alcohol content will be sold or dispensed to persons under 21 years of age, except as provided by law. Such signs will not be less than two, but, well, you're right, it doesn't say anything. We just printed what the state law, Mr.
Maybe
Medfield.
we need to see what the state law is on that.
Yeah, just find out what the state law says and let's add it.
Add to that,
Yeah.
if they are fined, you know, like Shreveport, if you look at Ruston,
Okay.
you know, the consequences of all of this.
That's on 6/121, Charles.
We're gonna be past this.
See if it gives a penalty for that.
Okay.
Well, it talks about purchase and sales and, no, I'm sorry, that's just the sign. And 623 is purchased on behalf of persons under 21, the violation.
That's
a
500 there.
That's 500 there,
Businesses all.
and jail.
Standing on their ear.
124 is retailer dealer's responsibility. And that talks about the revised statute. Unlawful to sell to persons under the age of 21, unlawful to sell under 21, selling or otherwise delivery of value of any alcoholic beverage to any person of 21 years of age. Lack of knowledge of the person's age shall not be a defense. You gotta ask for their card there. And you gotta look at it close because we're gonna have a rash of driver's license being altered. It talks about the fines there. Entry on license permitted to persons under 21 years of age. You can't go in, if you're 21, you can't go in any bars. Anybody have any questions about that? We talked about the fine.
Never hurt my feelings about the bar.
There's your false identification.
Yeah. So 627 is your false identification. It covers all that where you alter, change, or something like that. There's fines to that. And employee identification, 128, all employees of alcoholic establishments shall remain on their person. It says it remains on their person, but it also said back in the thing, you can make a copy of it and have it just in case they forget it. And that's it, folks.
I'm pulling this off.
Roll is on the way.
Hey, do y'all wanna meet Friday?
No.
No.
Okay, so when do y'all wanna go and meet, just wait after the,